Captain's Log, June 2nd, 2836. After 27 years of war between the Degen Coomers and the Sainthood Slayers, a new hope arises. As the battlefield lay weaponized, locked and loaded for destruction, negotiations for a peace treaty are in transition. The Moderator has arrived at Station 42. Can this war be ended? Will the Coomers and Slayers find a middle ground?
Abort mission. I repeat, abort mission. Negotiation failure. Abort mission.
Heavy boobies, 6+, low orbit, over grid 15-2.
No joy, Yashinman.
Then go to your window and look up their biggest fracking asteroid.
Copy, Yashinman. Still blind. Got some kind of system-wide crash in the defense grid.
They're on track or something right goddamn now, because we got Boku inbound, and they're not carrying flow.
Wait one, Yashinman.
We don't have one.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Moderator Monday. I am Sarah, the Raging Tomato, your host. This evening, we have Melanie Cosmic Fox, also known as Furby, Real Smith, James Ray Gregory, and Team Fatty. And they are here to discuss whether women gain value by increasing their body count or not. Furby, would you like to take it away with the opening statement, please?
Hello. Thank you, Sarah, for hosting this debate. And thank you to Smith for being my debate partner and my opponents for presenting us with a challenge here tonight. I'm just going to make some brief arguments. I don't know how long you're expecting me to go, so I hope I don't overrun anything, but I'll try to get through these as quickly as I can. So the first is a long-term partner should enjoy at least some of the things you enjoy. Sex is a minor factor in an overall relationship. For one thing, settling down before gaining sexual experience while realizing there is an alternative is probably why many women get the urge to cheat. Wow, I have not read off of a list of notes in a while, and it's just not working for me. Okay, let me just reset. Another issue is I don't want to see kids brainwashed into thinking sex is inherently bad or they should be ashamed of what they do with their bodies. That's a great foundation for a whole host of self-image and psychological problems down the road. Purity culture is a scourge which degrades the value of women for feeling sexually liberated while letting men off the hook for doing the exact same behavior. The double standard for men also becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They want to increase fidelity in marriage, but also want women who are more likely to second-guess their decision once they realize they are missing out on a vital part of human sexuality, and that is non-committal casual sex for pleasure. Men are more likely to cheat than women, but since their bruised egos are bigger, we hear more about their side of it. When we teach abstinence-only sex education in schools, for example, we use the chewing gum analogy, where it's compared to a woman's vagina getting chewed up. I would argue every vagina is different, and my opponent's thinking risks idealizing a realistic standard for women down to tacitly endorsing scientifically disproven hymen tests. It is simply harmful to think of women as less than for having more sexual experience, especially when with men there is a neutral or positive stance when they have more sexual experience. Women gain value as long-term partners with sexual experience because they become more confident and less easily bored with the red pill missionary lifestyle. So, unless we want to see women who don't know what they like and what their boundaries are, leading to more women looking for fulfillment outside of their marriages, society should value women's sexual experience too.
Thank you, Mel. Real Smith, to you.
I think that at the point in which you're evaluating women's value, you are already adopting quite a psychopathic lens, and you're kind of outing yourself as not capable of having the deep type of relationships that we're actually talking about trying to have. So I love women. I find women valuable who I love. The women I love are valuable to me. I'm not going through some extremely hyper transactional lens. And I think that once you start evaluating women in such a hyper transactional way, all the women that you end up with, they're all hyper transactional fucking gold digger freaks that make your life suck. And then that's why all these red pillars end up with these crazy bitches that suck. And if you want to actually have healthy, comfortable, loving relationships, you need to stop acting like a psychopath.
Perfect. Thank you, Smith. James, to you.
All right. First off, thanks everybody for having me on. Raging, appreciate it. Can you guys hear me good?
Yes.
All right. Let me bring up my statement here. All right. Women gain value by increasing their body count. The statement is fundamentally flawed. Men, picture this, and I'm going to ask you a question, okay? Picture the love of your life. Maybe she's already in your life. Maybe she's just in your head because you haven't gotten her yet. But then ask yourself this question. Would you want to be with this woman if she slept with your sibling, your best friend, or your boss? What about all three? Now, before you answer that question, just hold it for the remainder of my time. Just give me like 2 minutes. I don't need your question answered just yet. Such a position on the opposite side, my opponents, inverts the sexual marketplace with which I'll demonstrate. It asserts that men indeed don't want someone special to them, but rather someone who everyone has had a turn with. Be ready to fist bump your pastor, the deacon, your neighbor 2 doors down. Be ready to be the butt of everyone's joke that has had a turn with your wife or girlfriend. How wonderful. You can bond with men who you never intended to because they've shared the same intimate, passionate positions and groans of your wife or girlfriend. How convenient for you. They've gone to hear the same things that you guys do in bed. It's really kind of gross when you put it that way, but why stop there? Why not the entire church? Why not the entire neighborhood? Why not have sex with the entire planet for max value if it indeed does increase your value? So for centuries, from China, Africa, America, we've all had this culture of purity around the woman because it actually encourages long-term commitment because of the exclusivity aspect. So in markets, scarce resources are valued more. In relationships, exclusivity, loyalty carries similar weight. A high body count, by definition, diminishes that exclusivity, thus lowering the value. And I'm going to be bringing up value, even though my opponents have a problem with it in this debate, just to put it into context of the marketplace. So if everyone's had her, that part of her is not special. The easier the access, the less rare. The less rare, the cheaper the price. Love and relationships are similar to a marketplace because although there are subjective things when it comes to value in this trend of the marketplace, there are still objectively observable trends that we can see. For instance, this topic itself, the topic of body count, slut shaming, hookup culture are still controversial, reverberating throughout TikTok, YouTube, the debates we're having now, through feminist articles. It still remains a persistent market trend. Why is it persistent? Because men's sexual marketplace demands align with deep-rooted societal pressures and instinct. So feminists can't really, they failed to basically try and get rid of this with 70 years of the sexual revolution now, they still can't get rid of it. So they may argue on the opposite end like they have, Furby did, about how you find yourself through some type of orgasm or a meet an orifice, the way you can self-actualize and find equals MC squared. The secrets of the universe is through exchanging bodily fluids. It's a very cheap way of finding actual finding yourself. It's probably more likely done through virtue, self-control, discipline, kind of like all the religions, cultures throughout Stoicism purport to or encourage. So I want to bring back asking you guys that question. Would you want the love of your life to be the neighborhood hot dog bun? I don't need your answer because I already know it. It's probably F no, hell no, God no. Just to demonstrate the fact that I already know the market trend. So with that, I mean, we can get into data, but a lot of it's correlative. I'm ready to dive in.
All right. Thank you. Fatty, to you.
So that was my statement for me and Fatty.
Yes, thank you very much. James is the team captain. My statement is 10 seconds. This sounds like a trap, but let's have fun. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you, James, for leading us to the early win. Shout out to Melanie and to Mr. Smith for being honorable losers on today's show.
Thank you, Fatty. And as a kind reminder to everyone out there watching, we will have about a 2-hour debate. We will read and respond to your super chats, and then we will go into open panel dumpster fire. We will open up the floor to the public. So if you'd like to jump on and argue the case, feel free to do so when we do that. Outside of that, I leave the floor open to you.
So, James, I noticed that you talked about exclusivity, but you meant it in like this context of like this person has never had any partners before. Whereas like I think of exclusivity as being like, are you monogamous or polygamous, right? So my question for you is like, why can't you let bygones be bygones? Is there like ghost haunting this woman's vagina or something afterward?
The reason why is because when you're talking about value, there's a level of subjectivity to it. And one person may value one thing over the other, but there still is a market trend. Men generally don't want wife up hoes.
Do you think that there are common like overlaps of like what people value in relationships? Like I came up with 5 things. Do you maybe we should get to definitions as quickly as possible. Just get through this so we're not.
Well, I want to. Okay, well let's start with your definition.
So it's 5 things: sharing deep love, having a sense of self-worth while seeing your partner's self-worth, having appropriate communication skills, knowing your own boundaries while respecting their partner's boundaries, and offering more diversity in sexual play.
The last one I would kind of push back at because it sounds a little bit fruity. No offense, but it's like,
well, do you want to have the same sex every day for the rest of your life?
I don't know. I probably I'm not thinking that far ahead. I think if my wife is like, I don't like a certain position, I'm like, okay, let's just switch it up. But is it like a big thing? Not so much. I'm more focused on how many bodies she has. I'm not really focused on whether or not she's going to be a starfish. I don't really care about that stuff so much. But your other things that you mentioned, the other pillars that you mentioned, I don't take issue with that. But there's still a level of subjectivity there. So could you just repeat one more? I'm gonna try and write them down here.
Okay, I'll go slower. Sharing deep love, having a sense of self-worth while seeing their partner's self-worth.
Okay.
Having appropriate communication skills. Knowing their own boundaries while respecting their partner's boundaries.
Okay.
And offering more diversity in play.
These are all things that you could value in a relationship. But I think that the appropriate way to go forward would be to say that our opponents here are saying that there is a right way for people to be, and he's referring to some nebulous market value as if like that's something we should judge everybody by, and we should be evaluating all women by some, most people won't like you if you do this, so that means you're worthless, regardless of what you actually personally feel. Because if I want a whore with a gaping wide fucking giant vagina that's had 1 billion cocks, then that's perfect for me. You know, I want a woman that's going to cheat on me every day because I'm a cuck. That sounds like a great woman for me. So like, why don't I just evaluate it by like what I actually personally feel? But if we're going to like say, no, this is what everybody should feel, or even if everybody doesn't feel it, then we should still evaluate you based on some general, because if I put you back on the market, you're not worth as much as this other person.
All right. So
not, like
there's a difference here. There's a distinction. So you can make the case that one shouldn't view this a certain way, but you can't disregard a market trend. Men generally don't like this type of.
Why do I care if my wife is not if you don't think my wife is hot. I don't give a fuck. I think she's hot.
The problem is you're not understanding.
You want me to want to fuck your
well,
wife? That
so
sounds like
if I could just draw the distinction once again. There's a descriptive case that I'm making, and it's not so much a normative case. I'm not saying what people should and shouldn't do. I'm just trying to get you to acknowledge that there is a trend. And so when you look at the statement itself, women's value increases through increased sexual partners. That's generally probably the opposite of that.
So if you're talking about general market value, if we're talking about women as slabs of meat, so what you're saying is you want your woman to be seen by other men as more desirable because she needs to be a trophy or something. Why the fuck do you care?
Because
are you insecure? It's to me that whole worldview is so insecure because you're judging your wife by other men's standards. It's so unfathomably childish and insecure.
Let me ask you a question. When it comes to the outside perception, that doesn't matter to you at all.
Well, that's what you're doing when you say
can you answer the question? When you answer the question, does the outside world's perception? It wasn't
a question.
So can I answer my question? Does the outside world's perception of your wife matter to you at all?
No.
Okay, so if your wife is on the run from the law, that doesn't matter to you at all?
That is not about the outside perception.
Some people perceive that she might be breaking the law, and they're going to try to hold her to that task. Does that matter to you?
It matters to me if she actually is going to go to jail.
But I'm just trying to demonstrate to you that it's reasonable for you to have an outside perspective and couple it to how you view your wife.
So let's say that my wife. So here's a hypothetical then to make this more clear. My wife is a school teacher, and a bunch of people start saying that she molested a kid, and it's not true. Because a bunch of people think that, I should divorce her, even though I know for a fact and I can verify, and the law knows for a fact, and there's no evidence suggesting that she actually did. Because other people think that means I should be disgusted by her and discard her. No,
you're
right. The truth matters to me, not what some other people think.
I do want to make a clarification for you because I feel like there could be two separate arguments here. Smith, you are arguing in terms of if this is your woman, and I think also there could be a potential argument of potential women, right? Whether you were to marry them or casually date them or have a one night. So I think there are kind of two different arguments built in here, which I love that there's two of them. I just want to make sure that when we're speaking across the line here, we are all on the same page. I want to make sure we differentiate that.
I just want to say something before y'all go at it. Like, he's literally contradicting himself. It is saying that we shouldn't try to influence other people into looking at women the way we want to look at them, while he's trying to influence us to look at women the way he wants us to look at women.
That's not true. No.
You call a psychopath. You call a psychopath. You said this is wrong. Why? Like, we have a worldview of woman, and you have a worldview of your woman. You think our worldview is wrong, and we shouldn't try to influence other people and judge them by our metrics, while you're really trying to convince us that we should judge women by your metrics. Like, is your worldview wrong?
I'm not giving you a metric to judge women at all.
No, you actually are. A non-action is an action. A non-action is an action. When you say don't judge, 1 second, please. When you say don't judge women by their body count, you are literally telling me how to judge women.
I'm not saying that, actually. I'm saying that if you're disgusted by women with a large body count, then you should not date women with a large body count. I'm not telling you how to. I'm saying how you personally feel about women should guide how you interact with women. And I'm saying that I am making 2 points, and they are not contradictory. I'm saying that the way that you personally feel about women. So I think this is what the host was, Sarah, was saying. The way you personally feel about women should dictate how you interact or which women you select for. Also, I think that I'm saying that having a hyper transactional lens prohibits you from being able to have healthy, deep relationships. And a hyper transactional lens means you are approaching women before meeting them, and then saying you're low value because you have had sex with this many people. You are low value because you do not wear these kind of clothes. You are low value because you don't wear makeup. You're low value because you don't shave your body. Like these types of things.
It's not that superficial.
It's how you personally feel. Then I'm all for it and I support you.
Let's go with that.
It's not. Then it's just like it's.
No, let's go with the superficiality of that, right? I have 50 bodies, right? And every time I had sex with somebody, I took a ring and I put him on their finger and I said, stay with this finger for a month, right? At 51 bodies, I meet the woman of my dreams. I take that finger that I gave to 50 women before her and I say, you know what? You can have this ring that I gave to all the other 50 women I had sex with and they didn't mean nothing with them. They stay with that shit for a month. Do you think that most women will feel extremely offended by that? Saying, how dare you give me this ring, the most special person on your life, to me when you gave this to women that mean nothing to you? Like, why didn't you give me a new one? Do you think most women will be extremely offended by that, Mr. Smith?
I don't know about most. Yeah, probably. But I think the reason would be because it makes you seem like a liar and it makes you seem untrustworthy.
I'm not a liar. I told the truth.
He told the truth.
Okay,
I told her this ring was used by other 50 women that mean nothing to me. If I give this ring to 99% of women, they will feel offended and they will think that I don't value them, like that I value the other woman like I value her. She's just another one.
I agree.
And this is, so if you agree, you agree, you understand right or wrong. You understand symbolism. You understand that people.
Yeah, but it's symbolic. It's not analogous. Here's the problem.
No. Okay, so no. Let me finish my point.
Hold on.
Finish my point, and then you got it. Let me finish my point.
Fatty, you got 30 hold on. Fatty, you got 30 seconds. And then Furby, you haven't spoken in a little bit. So if you want to go next and then back to Smith.
Yes. I just want to make this clear. 99% of women can be offended because I'm giving them a ring that I gave to 50 women. A ring that is discarded is just a thing. There's 1 trillion rings on the planet. They mean nothing under the symbolism of the ring. But I have to be okay with you giving your pussy to 50 guys? Something that doesn't renovate. How can you unfuck somebody? I can buy another ring. You can buy another pussy. You can buy one. What about another asshole? Can you buy another one? So you can be offended to us, but we can be offended with something that can be replaced or rejuvenate. That actually can be tied up a little bit with Kegels. But you guys see what I'm saying. So that's what you guys telling me.
Are we landing anytime soon?
Everybody can be offended.
Yeah,
Everybody
we're about to land
offended.
the fact that Smith is going to concede.
Furby. Hold on. Go ahead, Furby.
So I didn't find the wedding ring thing analogous at all. The main thing being that wedding ring is something you give to somebody else, and yes, we do talk about giving your virginity to someone else, but at the end of the day, that's their own body that we're talking about, and how they want to use it is ultimately up to them. And I don't think it's the same thing as a ring, which is meant to be symbolic as something special, something unique for somebody. Whereas, like, I don't think there's anything written on a vagina that says that personally. And I don't know if Fatty's still there, but what I was going to ask him is, like, based on all of this, should women devalue Fatty based on his body count? And if not, where is this double standard coming from?
Look, the double standard is completely irrelevant to the topic of the debate. You guys are arguing in the affirmative, we're arguing in the negative. And Smith was literally about to concede. Smith basically conceded to the argument, and you're saying that it has no relevance because one is an object.
I can demonstrate the relevance to your logical argument.
Well, you said that a person can do whatever they want with their body. The same thing applies with the ring. A person can do whatever they want to do with their property. So my property is what I'm seeing right here. That will go the same to the ring. So you're failing to.
But what that woman's vagina is, what you think that woman's vagina is, whether it's like a ring or not, doesn't matter to you. So sorry, Fatty, I did have a question. I don't know if you're here to hear it, by the way. Do you think, based on what you said about the ring, that women should devalue you based on your body count? And if so, and if not, why?
It's not relevant. It's not relevant.
If that's their standard, absolutely. And once again, Fox, you are contradicting yourself. Listen, your opening statement denounced the red pill, which is literally men telling other men how to move, right? They have their standards too. And all of a sudden you say, that woman she has her body, she can do whatever she wants with her body.
I hardly mentioned the red pill at all.
Please stop. If that woman can do whatever she wants with her body, meaning giving it to 1,000 people, why can't this man come on panels and give whatever advice they want, and who follows, who doesn't? How are you able to do whatever you want without no punishment by society? But now you're trying to punish or trying to push back.
I agree with you. Okay, but counterpoint.
Oh, another concession. There's two.
Hold on.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Stop. Go ahead, Smith.
I agree with you, but my mode of argument here is very different from Melanie here. Okay, so
don't worry, we'll get you to.
So counterpoint. Okay, let's just say as a hypothetical. Okay, because I'm not gonna let's not like get too weird and talk about all what I'm actually. But it's just hypothetical. I want a fucking slut. I want the biggest, widest, most ran through pussy. That's what I want. That's the most valuable woman to me. So. Yes. Then that makes that woman more valuable.
Yes, but you would just be the exception to the rule. It's the reason why you have to. It's the reason why you have to preface your own hypothetical.
But why is there
making it absurd? Because you deep down it's absurd because it is literally exception to the rule. So when we're talking about this statement itself, do women's value increase the more bodies they have? You're tacitly admitting that that's not the case.
Do men typically? Can I ask you something? Do men typically want easier or harder access to sex?
I don't like this mode of argument. I don't think this is a feminist argument, dude. I don't think that.
I'm not trying to be a feminist. I'm trying to do informal logic.
So it depends on
they want easier access. Let's go with that.
It depends on the mating strategy.
Yeah, I would say men want easier access.
Let's go with that.
Let me make my assertion, Fatty. Please let me lay my plane here.
No, I just want before you get the microphone, because I'll pass you back. I don't argue. I think every lion wants is the access to the gazelle. They might not get it, but they're on a perfect world. They will do it. They still have to fight on each other every day to get it. But if they could have gazelle on the fridge, most lion would say, "I'll get that for 1,000, sir."
It's funny that you use hunting strategies because hunting strategies and mating strategies can be very different in a species. And I'll just point that. I'll leave that.
It was an analogy we kind of understand.
I totally forgot what I was going to say. Actually,
damn, that's crazy.
I suck. I fucking suck.
Well, let me
hold on, Mel, because you were interrupted. You were going into the concept of easy access versus hard access.
Thank you. I got it. Yeah. So I think what your methodology actually works against men by creating a self-limiting pool, restricting how many women you could actually have sex with and value, stuff like that. But more importantly, women with more experience are more likely to engage with sex, whereas women who are less experienced are probably have more concerns about how it's going to go and stuff like that, and are more afraid of it. So if anything, men's own desire are the things that drive women to be sluts in the first place. So my question for you is, why doesn't this fall on your own self-control? If you want more women to be virgins, stop going around being sluts yourself.
Okay.
Look, the double standard is completely irrelevant to the debate.
I don't think it's
completely irrelevant. The reason why is because
I have another way to bring it up.
Not the case.
How's it not relevant when it's self-defeating?
I'll bring it. Hold on. I'll bring it to light. The value is based on the man's perception of value. Right? So I think if you are the one driving that value up or down, then it is correlative to the conversation.
Yes. There's two fallacies. Jen, let me just get it in Nagajo, I promise. Right? Two fallacies. First one, you don't have to have 1,000 bodies to be experienced. You can have 3 boyfriends, fuck them 2,000 times, and you have 2,000 times that you experience sex in any kind of way. So you don't actually need to be promiscuous to have experience. You can repeat the same process on your back, flip side, on the swing, on the movies, on the car, with 2 or 3 men. And I think most men will not be offended if they meet you at 30 and if they marry you. The second thing is, and it's a question for you, Melanie. Melanie, if I fuck 1 million women, how many bodies do they have each?
1 million. My question for you is...
Whoa! Stop there. If one woman decides to fuck 1 million men, how many bodies does she have?
1 million.
So that's the point. I didn't make no hoe. All of those women, 1 second, all of those women as one body, even if I engage with 1 million women, Genghis Khan style, they will not become hoes. I didn't participate in nothing that made them a hoe. But if they decide to fuck 1 million men, and that's their prerogative, like you said, we are not going to judge them by what they do. They themselves decided to become hoes. So that's nothing to do with me or James. This has to do with y'all and your booty hole. Go ahead.
It totally does, because again, by creating a demand for this, you give women the opportunity to give the supply.
Wait. Hold on now. Are you mapping onto my market analogy? So you're acknowledging at least that there's a market. Can we agree on that?
Well, that's
Melanie?
because his
It's
argumentation is
More
different from
analogous
mine.
than literal. It's more
All right, well, at
analogous
least-
than literal, but yeah.
All right. So
There's a
then,
market.
then you have to understand that sometimes people want fast food, and sometimes people want a full course meal.
But here's the difference, right?
Well, fast food's
Hold on,
valuable.
hold on.
Then you're saying fast food is
Keep
valuable.
the
Then
interruptions to a minimum, please.
But
Generally
here's
it's
the
not.
thing.
James.
Generally it's
James,
not, because
James,
the more
James, I think you were finishing if you want.
generally it's not, because the more bodies you have, the less attractive you are on the marketplace.
it sounds like
Yes.
Fatty loves fast food. It looks like he loves it too.
Yes. And do you think my value should be lower because I'm fat?
No,
But that's the point. It is.
It is, regardless of whether you
That's
think
the
it's
point,
fair
it
or
is.
not. Whether
I
it
don't
hurts your
understand.
feelings, it doesn't matter.
Even if I don't believe it, even if I say I should be treated equally. Yes, for
women wanna
example,
fuck you.
your
Less-
beard doesn't connect.
It's
By
true, less-
default, women
So
are going
can
to
you-
value
so
more
I-
than
I
men.
still want
At
to.
least-
I still want to
well,
respond to
Matt,
something
I'm just
Patty
saying
said
if,
at the
if you
back.
if you have had
I haven't
sex
had a
with,
chance to jump in.
if you have had sex with 50 women or whatever, so that means that you value women who are easy to fuck.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
So all the women that you fuck are virgins?
No, absolutely not. I
Okay,
don't
then-
make one second, please. Value sex comes is hard to get to men. You probably should know. You look like you have like 3 bodies and 2 of them were paid, right? You should know kind of that, right? But even
No,
if
I'm not
you
fat.
don't, 1 second, please. But even if you don't understand it, and even if you don't understand it, then please go ahead. We don't reward easy shit. For a woman, having sex is just you going outside and stepping on ants. You want a trophy for go outside and stepping on ants? You can step 1,000,000 ants. Nobody will give you credit because a kid can do that. But you know what is valuable? Go outside and catching an elephant. Catch 3 of them and I will give you an award. You know why? Because it's difficult. We are not the same. Woman, sex comes easy to woman, so they shouldn't actually be valuable for that, because that shit is like me going to the
Alright.
fridge and
Next
picking
time-
up something to eat. Go
Next
ahead.
time I have sex
Matt,
with a
can I please
virgin,
have
I'm gonna come over to your house and ask for your trophy so I can get a reward for having sex with. I just shot down an elephant, man. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Furby, go
I don't
ahead.
need an reward. I just don't care about getting an award.
No,
It-
the
you're
reward
actually-
is the sexual
You're
access.
actually proving
To a virgin.
a point here. You're proving a nuanced point. The fact is that when it comes to your ability to attract what we would perceive as high value women on the marketplace, the qualities that you would have, whether it comes to being funny, witty, charming, a byproduct of that is having more sexual access by its very nature. But that's not always, it's almost inverted with women, because if you look at the most sexually available women, they're often the least desired. And we're talking about prostitutes, whores, OF chicks. Sure, they're like they're basically disposable.
Well,
And no one respects them on the market.
when you say least desired, I mean, I think objectively, like OnlyFans girls are the objectively most desired, like statistically, factually, like objectively.
Yeah, but you have to remember. In my statement, I brought up love and relationships. So, are you willing to wife up a OF or a prostitute?
I think objectively, a lot of men are
Well,
willing to wife up a
so
prostitute
Do
or
you think
a
they would be the
stripper or
majority?
an
Do you think
OnlyFans girl.
do you think they would be the majority of men or the
Yes,
minority?
and that is why they are able to get rich with that strategy.
They are so desirable that
Objectively.
they are so desirable that they cost $9.99. That's their value.
Yeah.
$9.99.
Objectively, I
quick
don't
swipe.
agree. I think those men are suckers.
No. Let's talk about it.
Oh,
then.
wait. You think they're suckers now? Wait a
Whoa.
minute. You mean to tell me that you have a negative stigma towards men who are
No,
basically...
I care about those men, and I think I personally I know that I'm very emotional. If I went to a strip club, I bet either I would be horrified because I could see through like their fake behavior, or I'd fall in love with a stripper and she'd trick me.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I
you
mean?
would still be a sucker either way.
I'd be a sucker.
I mean,
yes,
you'd be a sucker on the latter
No.
version.
Yes,
On the-
exactly.
Wait, meth. You're only agreeing with me and Fatty that you can acknowledge that there's a market trend. Whether you like it,
No.
whether it hurts your feelings, is not relevant. Is there a market trend?
I'm not talking. What do you mean? Like,
You have a instinctive level of like, this guy's an idiot for being duped into what?
I don't. Yeah, that's not a market trend. I'm saying that being lied to and being fooled is bad, and I don't want people to be lied
Hold
to.
on. You wait, Fatty, let me cook this. You just agreed to 2 things here. The first one was that if a woman If a man has a ring and he treats it so flippantly that he gives it to the 51st woman, she's going to feel like she's being cheated. You're agreeing once again that you can acknowledge a level of duping or getting over on somebody, or the deal becomes cheap.
It goes both ways, is what I think he's getting at.
But here's the thing: it's not relevant. The topic of the debate is not, does men's value decrease as well as women? It's women's. So if we can prove one, the debate's over.
I have an actual counterpoint. Before I was being hyperbolic, but what I actually would prefer a woman. I don't want a virgin at all. Like I feel like dating like a 19-year-old virgin would be awful. I don't want to date a child. I want to date someone that actually matches me. Like has a similar
lower body count.
Has a similar body count.
No. Hey, James, let's not even go there, right? I'm going to be generous, and James is actually right. We are just engaging now into things that we shouldn't engage because are not a part of the debate. Because this is a watch, we're just having fun with y'all, right? A woman with a lower body count, or Lily Phillips. As if you know, I don't know if you know, Lily Phillips is that woman that had sex with 100 men in one day.
You're very mad.
Okay, no. 1 second, because I'm talking with your friend. You don't. So let's talk about it.
We are friends.
One second. Let me finish. You have the two. This is two same women. They are the same. They are literally the same woman. I don't talk about virgin. Let's go with 5 bodies at 30. One of them is that woman, 5 bodies at 30. The other woman is exactly the same in every single merit, but she is Lily Phillips. She's the woman that fuck 100 men in one day. Which one is more valuable to you, sir?
Valuable to me?
Yes. I'm on a romantic way, because we're talking about romantic. On a romantic way, which one is more valuable?
Okay, I wouldn't. I'm just less interested in a woman who has had sex. I think she's probably messed up. I don't think that I would get along.
Oh no! Hey, Melanie, you might need to go switch out. You might need to go switch him out. Go sub him out.
But the key thing here.
Well, you're the one who wants to argue against me, fucking
I'm not
cowards.
willing to say that she's less valuable, though.
So she's more damaged. She has more trauma. She's more hurt, but she's
so,
not.
Gentlemen,
what you say has
can
nothing to do
we
with what you're
break
actually
down?
doing.
I'd like to see you guys break down the difference between value and interest/desire, because I think that is important here to establish that those are two different things. In order to continue the conversation.
Also, can I get a chance to respond to something Fatty said like 5 minutes ago?
Sure. Go ahead,
you're going to bypass the fact that he said that a woman with bodies with 100
I've been trying to respond to this entire time.
Go ahead, Mel. That's fine.
If you want to focus on Smith, you can get the results of focusing on Smith. Now you're focusing on me. So Fatty, you said that it doesn't take many times to gain experience. I would 100% disagree. In fact, I think especially for all those men out there who are concerned about like their penis size and like women might not be satisfied for that, then you probably want a woman who's learned through experience that dick size doesn't actually matter. It's what you do with it.
Okay.
And guess what? That is something women learn with the more they have. So response to your Lily Phillips question, I think Lily Phillips would do things to my goddamn dick I didn't even know about. And that woman who's only been with 5 guys by the time she's 30 probably still cramps up every time I go inside her because she's still terrified of being dominated.
Are you heterosexual? Are you heterosexual?
What the fuck?
Are you heterosexual?
I'm bi, but I'm romantically attracted to men.
So I would doubt your credentials, and even if you were being honest, it would still be an anomaly on the market.
I doubt you're actually a dating coach.
But most men are not. Most men are not homosexual. Most men are not. They're just regular dudes.
That's irrelevant.
Want a regular.
You want to talk about relevance?
The reason why it's completely relevant, Melanie, is because I'm talking about a general market trend. You're the outlier in this example. So I think him asking that question.
I don't think personal history or whatever has to do with.
I'm not getting insulting at all. This is not. I'm not insulting.
No. What I'm saying is, we don't have to establish credibility for who can speak
to
what, because it is a debate. I could say, like, you're fucking ugly as shit. So what kind of credentials do you have? What are your abilities to get women? So how would I even know? Right. Well, I'm using it as an example.
I agree, Sarah. I agree with you.
I disagree.
You know what's fair? I'm
just explaining. There's a difference between the sexual nature of meth and Melanie. It's completely relevant to the topic.
Have you ever taken a human behavioral biology course?
I would ask Melanie if she has more big dildos or small ones, so we can kind of measure if a big dick matters or not, right? But let's go with your situation, right, Melanie? You know
I
that
don't
people
actually
in Asia
have
a little
this
bit are 1 second, please. You know that the women in Asia are a little bit smaller, right? And I will going to leave it at that. Let's imagine that you are a woman in Vietnam and you are only used to date men that are 5'6" and they have 3 inches and nothing more. And she come to Europe on a trip, or she goes to Uganda and she starts to meet these 6'2", 10 inches. Do you think her sexual appetite she's going to appreciate the man that you left in Vietnam with all those experience with this 6'2", 10 inches, and she's going to say, you know
Okay,
what?
we get it.
Size doesn't matter because I experienced that in Africa. Now that I'm back to my man, I'm totally satisfied. It's actually the opposite.
I
So
actually
More
here's
than
the
one
thing.
I
thing.
agree with Melanie
I
here.
want to respond to Fatty, please.
Let me finish. The more that you experience, the more you will compare with other things. And this is the point where you always go up, and as soon as you go down, you are going to feel some type of way because the new standard is way higher than the standard that you have. These women that experience multiple men literally will build a chimera. They will build the tallest man, the man with the better.
Is that what you're afraid
They
of?
stop having
Them having
sex.
a
They
reference
stop
that they can do
enjoying it.
better?
Whether he's
I'm not
afraid
Let
about
Fatty
it.
finish. Let Fatty finish.
I'm
please.
I would
not
like to respond,
afraid.
please.
I'm not afraid. What I'm saying is that your premise is wrong. These women that experience more partners, they become more picky. They don't become more accepting. They actually become more picky when it's the part for them to pick their mate. It's not the
Right.
other way around.
No.
Yeah, women are the gatekeepers of sex. All the power to them to become more picky and know that they can do better.
Yeah, but the women that have
That
sex with
contradicts
the
your
women that
point.
have sex with like 100 men, they don't end up picking like the biggest, strongest, giant black man with a giant dick to marry. They end up marrying some scrawny Jew.
Yeah, but
Yeah, someone like Smash.
let's just point out that Melanie's actually admitting what Fatty is saying, because
Yes.
he went to saying, well,
Keep trying to
they're
do
just,
this, dude, and it's
hold
not
on,
working on us.
hold on, Playboy. They just said that. She just said he's afraid. Or they're afraid of it. They're afraid. Well, you're just admitting that it's an actual market trend. Once again, proving our case. Again, this is 3.
It has nothing to do with that.
Just wanna
What
point
I'm
out,
saying is I think
there's a market
I
trend.
think the
You
only
can't
reason
deny it.
you
You
want
can't even deny
virgins, I think the only reason you want virgins is because you're afraid of that woman knowing that she can do better.
It doesn't matter if it's fear, if it's logic, the trend still exists. And when it comes to women, given that men are the consumers on this marketplace, you've just acknowledged it.
Here, since you love analogies, James, sorry, but since you love analogies, I thought of the perfect analogy. I've had multiple bosses in my life. I stick up for myself with my current boss because I once had a boss that just through being positive about everything alone and not actually making me feel bad when I fucked up, I actually felt motivated to work. And that's how I learned that it's very demotivating for me to have a boss that just nitpicks on everything I do wrong. And so I stick up for myself with this boss, and now we have a better working relationship. But if I hadn't had that reference, I wouldn't have communicated my boundaries, and I wouldn't have known what I needed to get the job done.
Mm-hmm. So in that example, it can work for you. And if we map it onto body count and the women's experience, and she finds actually a good relationship, is that what you're trying to draw the analogy of?
Well, you would agree boundaries in a relationship, like knowing your boundaries, communicating them, and having your partner respect them is important, right?
Yes, but I want to engage with the question you're asking about how, sure, a man or anybody, an employee, can find that one boss who's actually holds him down and he appreciates. However, that doesn't mean that this person is entitled to better treatment from employers in the future. They're not entitled for those employers to hire him on the same merits. So you're only proving our point again that.
But you agreed that like boundaries are important to have. So I think, sorry, I'm lost because like I don't know how you can still disagree with me when you agree that boundaries are important to have, and that like I basically demonstrated that the only way to know where your boundaries are and to know how to stick up for them is to have that sort of experience. So how can you not see?
No, that's not true.
You just call us scared. That's the point. Hey, true. James, you notice what she did? We have boundaries. She called us scared and insecure. Now she's saying it's very important to have
but you're
boundaries.
imposing those boundaries on other people.
Stop. If I have boundaries and I don't want to cuff a hoe, like you said, it's not me being insecure, it's me having boundaries. And once again, look at you flip-flopping from you should have boundaries and have rules about how to engage with people, and all of a sudden you say, if you have rules about engaging with people, you are insecure and you are afraid. I'm afraid
No,
of
you're
what?
talking about preference, not boundaries.
Okay, let
Your
me. Okay,
boundaries-
so hold
Sorry,
on.
go ahead,
No. Don't step on that fucking bear trap. Okay, no, you can have boundaries because you're insecure, and people should respect those boundaries. And you can be insecure and have boundaries. Maybe I'm like really fat, and I feel like I'm fat, and so I only want to stand next to really fat people in photos because I'm insecure. That could be an actual boundary that I have because I'm insecure.
It's not
That's
a boundary.
crazy. It is a boundary.
But
A boundary
the
is
fact
something
that you're
How is that
acknowledging that
boundary?
there's a. Okay, so what is the point? What is the point about boundaries?
Yeah,
What's the
what
point
is
about
the
that?
final
I'm saying that this whole like marketplace ideology is valid to feel that way, but it's total insecurity, mental illness.
But look,
It's
the
a double
debate is
standard, as I
not-
pointed
the
out.
debate
It's
is
yours
not-
for me, but not for me.
Meth, the debate is not whether or not it's just or whether or not it's logical. It's does it exist? Is there a negative market pressure towards these type of women? You're just admitting it,
But
Meth.
you're talking
So-
about okay. So yeah. So I think that it's just that I don't agree that there.
It hurts your
we
feelings.
do consider women's
you the
bodies.
ick.
We do consider women's bodies a commodity, and on the market, it's a fact that those bodies have less value. But that's not a game. Yes, those bodies have less value when they have more sex. That's a fact. But that's not a game. That's not a game that I'm interested in playing because I think it's fucking stupid.
Okay.
No,
well,
no,
hold
that's
on.
not-
Am
I want to
opening
point
statement?
something
All
out.
I said
I
was-
need a
you're right.
chance because
That's
it's
the
3v1
world-
at this point. I
that's
need
the
a
Go
world
chance.
ahead,
we live
Furby.
in.
Go ahead,
Well,
Furby.
Can I not respond
So
to that?
Hold on.
I need to point out that there is no physiological difference in a woman's vagina after having sex, aside from having really rough sex for a long period of time. It takes a lot to get some serious scarring. You won't notice a difference. So that there is zero objective difference in their body. This is all in your head. Therefore, you can get. I'm landing this plane. It's all in your head, so you can get over yourself. Secondly, the social value depends on how we as a species treat sex. If we go around making people feeling ashamed for having sex, then yeah, everyone's going to be able to use the fact that they had sex against her. If we're in a sexually liberated society, then that's not shameful. Finally, I think I've done a great job explaining that yes, you do get more value out of sexual experience because for you as a person, if you're a woman, you're able to stand up for your boundaries. If you're the other person, then they can show you things you might not even have known. You
So
don't.
the woman that lets
unless
everybody
you-
inside of
I'm-
her has
I've
more
seldom
boundaries
landed
than
my
the woman that
plane.
has-
Fatty, you love landing your plane, right?
That's great.
How many points are you gonna have? You got like 5 or 6 points.
Unless you want a sex doll with no sense of autonomy, which I think is pretty messed up, I
False
think you
dichotomy.
need to check these double standards and start applying them to
I
yourself.
want you
False
to answer
dichotomy.
my question. So the
Okay.
woman that lets anybody inside of her, the rental car that everybody drives, and they do, and they drive it hard, and they go ahead, and everybody gets it and return it to the rental store, and then the next guy. So that woman is the woman that has standards and has boundaries.
No,
The
not
woman
just that, Fatty. Not just that. The max value. She has the
I'm not
max
going to be able to
value.
answer Fatty's question if you also piggyback off of him. So
No,
you
but
should let him
he's
finish.
the
what he's
max
team
answering.
value.
captain. He should interrupt me. He's the team captain. He's my. In contrary to both of y'all, he's actually
I
does
don't
the same
care.
thing.
I'm just
Go
going to
ahead,
ignore him then.
Fatty. Go ahead, Fatty.
So let me. So you are telling me, Melody, just to make this right, this woman that had 50 previous owners has more boundaries and more self-respect and knows what she wants. And if it goes up, 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 she still gets more boundaries and more respectful and more self-love and all of that. She has more than the woman that had 2 previous
Hells
owners.
yeah, way more than a woman who thinks that she should feel ashamed for having sexual thoughts, for example.
Prove
Now
it.
that's you are moving the goalposts.
Well,
We
that's where
didn't do that.
your virginity,
Hey,
purity
Melanie,
culture leads
hey,
us,
Melanie,
buddy.
can you stop? Both of
You
those
want
women.
James? You want to bring up big
Melanie,
factor? Let's go, James.
Melanie, one
Go ahead.
second.
I'm
Go
going
ahead,
to your
Fatty.
team
Go ahead,
captain
Fatty.
now.
Melanie, both of those
I give
women,
it to Fatty.
both of those women can think whatever they want. This is about how the world perceives them. Value is not what I think I am. I can think I'm $1 million Louis Vuitton bag, but if nobody buys me, I'm worth zero. It's about
You're
how
totally
we
fine with
negotiate.
raising
Okay,
kids.
it's a matter
You're
of a
totally
fact-
fine
it's a
with
matter of-
raising kids, making them think that like if they had sex, that they're somehow less valuable. You think that that's an all right thing to teach a
It's
child?
not an argument.
it's not about being all right or no. You know how women attack men? They call them virgins.
Are you
Something
against
that
are
is
you
valued
against
once-
brainwashing in
Let
schools
me
generally?
finish. Let me finish. You have to let me
I will
finish.
let you. Yep.
You think that and again, we are just engaging in this conversation because, to be honest, this conversation is over. We're just giving you like debating things that probably we shouldn't be debating, so we don't perceive that you guys win. The word virgin has different connotations. When you call a woman a virgin, is a diamond in a rough. When you call man a virgin, is a loser. We use the word virgin to actually say this man has less value because he can get woman.
He gets
Woman
no
do it,
bitches.
man, woman, society do it, everybody does it. So let me once again repeat myself. And
You're
please
making a
go ahead,
normative argument.
Let him finish.
answer the question. Right? Since you're saying that the woman that get more bodies have more value, are you admitting that the men that have 1,000 bodies have more value than the men that are virgins?
Yes, because I'm actually consistent. So here's my logical argument.
Melanie.
Here's my logical argument. Society does. You are true in saying that society does value those things differently. However, if that had any basis in reality, then I would say we should continue it. However, it does, and so it does not have a basis in reality. Therefore, we should not continue it.
So just to make this short, so just to make this very clear, if Andrew Tate comes here and he has 1,000 bodies, and we have a doctor, I don't know, a regular person with 7 bodies, you are telling me that Andrew
Yes,
Tate
they'll
has more
both have
value?
sexual experience.
So
Well,
Andrew
that's
Tate
the
has more
question.
value. So Andrew Tate has more value than that man, and woman should pick the man with more Andrew Tate because he has more bodies and more experience.
I think
right?
also his history speaks for itself, but we're not
Let's
including
assume
that.
that he's
So.
not a criminal. He's just a
Yes,
man with
yes.
a.
So then, yes, his sexual experience would make him more valuable, in my opinion.
So you should. So you would get your friend Neve, your friend Sarah, your friend whatever, and you said, you know what? I recommend you to date Andrew Tate because he has 1,000 bodies and he's better than James.
No, that's not
and
the
Fatty
only
'cause they don't.
lines along which I recommend someone to date another person.
What if they're both? If
We're
they
not
both
just
map on? What if they're
we're
both
not just fruit
identical?
flies. We don't just come together at the hips, right? Like
Wait,
there's
so are
way
you saying
more
you
to
don't
human
even-
interaction than that.
Hey, Fox, this is what you're doing that is actually is kind of disingenuous. If James says, I have this person, she has 3 bodies, and another woman has 100 bodies, and they kind of look the same and all that, I will give
Sorry.
James a clear instruction. Yes, sir. Go pick up the one with 3 bodies because she probably has less damage, not just physically, mentally too, right? You are telling me, once again, that if I pick a regular person with 5 bodies, 7 bodies, and I put them on the same room with Andrew Tate with no crimes, no nothing, you are going to willingly tell every woman that they should pick Andrew Tate because he's more valuable because he has more bodies. That's what you're saying.
No.
But if they're all this, if all the
they're all the
metrics
same.
of man to man are the same, then you have to say that.
So
Yes.
do you want the answer, or do you want to just keep telling each other how right you are? So the
Yeah,
answer,
but don't change the question.
Change it from Andrew Tate to a different guy. Like
No. The thing
pick
is,
a guy who's
Andrew
just had
Tate-
more.
Let's
not
assume
a
there's-
rapist guy, you know, like
please, one
Bring the
second.
point home.
Let's
So bring the
assume
point
there's
home.
2 Andrew Tates, but they
I
have
really
no
don't want an
crimes.
answer.
1 second, please. They have no crimes. They are no famous. They are the same person. 2 Andrew Tates. One has 5 bodies, and another one has
Johnny
1,000 bodies.
Sins. Johnny
And
Sins, the
another
porn
one has
star.
1,000 bodies. Which one are you recommending your friends
Dude,
today?
make it be Johnny Sins, the porn
No.
star. Yes.
We want to stay with the same thing.
Go ahead,
No,
Fox.
no,
Go ahead, Melanie.
no. So
Which
that you're
one-
not loading it. If you want to
Can
not
we-
load it, it's obnoxious and insane and pathetic.
Sir, you are
need
just
to
you
make
are
it
just
Andrew Tate
trying
to load
to
it.
savor
Make it
issues.
Johnny Sins, who's a porn star who has
I'm
had sex with a
going
million women.
to take a moment to just reset the panel and
Oh,
kindly
you are
mind.
saving them,
Hold on,
Sarah.
hold on. No. The interruption and yelling over each other is what bothers me. So we can get back to it. Well, let me reset it here. So there's about 300 of you out there watching, whether you're watching from my end, Fatty's end, James' end, or whoever. I think Smith is restreaming as well. Please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, share button. It is your job. It's really free to do so. So Fatty, I will allow you the space to do so, but I also want to pose a question to the panel to maybe get into later.
Can I get a chance to response at least?
Fatty will go and then back to you, Mel. But I want to kind of pose a thought process here. When we say value, are we presuming that all sex is transactional? And by way of, would a person's value only be based on transactions for everything? So I just want to pose that thought, and you guys can take it now, later, however you want to go. But Fatty, I'll leave the floor back to you.
That's what I
and
was
I'll
trying
ask
to
you a
get
question about that. So can we get the answer? And Andrew Tate, no crimes, 5 bodies. Andrew Tate, 1,000 crimes. 1,000 bodies, no crime. Same person, exact person.
Make it fucking Johnny Sins.
Wouldn't
matter.
man.
It does matter because
I want
Math. Let me answer.
I want to hear now. 1 second, please. I want to hear which one you recommend to your best friend.
So, this is not how I would recommend someone to my friend. I would recommend.
You're not answering the question, Mel.
Because it's not about body count. I wouldn't look at their body count when considering that.
Not the point.
Logic, Melanie. Answer the hypothetical to test your logic.
Is this how you think all humans are? They're just walking body counts?
No,
they're not. They're way more than that. Now that we got that out of the way, now that you know that human beings.
Let me just point something out. Let me point something out. I'm not done. I'm not done my sentence.
You are being disingenuous. James,
I think you are because you're not letting me say anything.
No, James literally
Patty, do you want to hear what I have to say and then respond?
Pardon me for just a moment. Can you repeat the hypothetical, please?
The hypothetical is this. They are the same person. There's no, there's more to a person. Yes, we know. They're the same person. These are the same people. They're 2 people, same people. Same person.
Yeah, I wouldn't use their body count.
One person has 5 bodies. They're the same person.
Because you're scared.
Another person has 1,000 bodies. Which one will you be more inclined to recommend to your best friend to date, even though they're the same person? Which one?
Neither. Whoever I think they're more compatible with based on other things.
It's funny how you opine about how you want to answer the question. You literally dodge
okay.
it.
Let me have a question now. If you encountered a woman in the wild, right? And she told you she had one body, like a certain body count. How the fuck would you even know if she was lying? These things are completely subjective. Her body count means nothing at the end of the day.
Okay. No, stop. If 1 second.
There's no indicators.
Stop, please.
No indicators.
You checkmated yourself. If body count doesn't say nothing about the person, why does the prompt say that woman get body count by getting their body count up?
Yeah, man, you got to stick to your
physically. There's nothing that changes.
Now you want to qualify it.
Yes, you said.
I literally said physically. I already qualified.
Physically, nothing that changes. Also about somebody that that has a collection of their fingernails in their closet. But would you want to date somebody that has a giant plastic bag of their fingernails in their closet?
If I was into that
there's no physical difference between that person and someone who doesn't do that. But I would choose somebody who doesn't do that. Similarly, I would choose not to date Johnny Sins because Johnny Sins is probably a freak because he's had sex with a billion women.
But I could easily just assume men are damaged. I could just as easily assume based on ick factor that men who want virgins are damaged goods, right? So you need something to actually quantify this and
I wouldn't want if I was a woman. Want to date a man who wants a virgin?
So it just feels. It's all feels over. It all feels over reals for you, right?
I'm going to explain this. I'm going to explain this. When you talk about you need to justify it. Look, there's you and I both agree. Everybody basically on the panel agrees that there's a market-based analogy that maps onto this topic. So with that being said, sometimes there are better phones than the iPhone. But why did everybody buy it? You need to justify why you buy the iPhone 13. No, I don't. All I need to do is just show.
Also say wine gets better with age, though.
Oh, Melanie. All I have to do is point to a market trend and acknowledge it. Whether it's subjective, it's not relevant. Is there an objective market trend that I can observe? Whether it's not justified, it's not relevant.
But I could come up with just as many counter analogies, James, right? I could say certain tools work better as they wear with age. Certain wine, or that's experience in that case, but also wine wears better with age. All of these things.
Yes, but you cannot get around the fact that people will still buy the iPhone, despite that there are markedly better phones out there. It doesn't matter. People still want the iPhone. People still want
these marketing trends don't tell us about how humans actually interact when we're looking for long-term relationships. When people are looking for long-term relationships, we're thinking, I have to spend the rest of my life with this person, right? Am I always going to be interested in what we're doing in the bedroom? So how much can they offer in that sense? Coolidge effect, look it up.
Directly. I can show you how it maps on. Hold on. Melanie, I can show you how it maps on directly by.
Do you know what the Coolidge effect is? Just curious.
Let him finish.
It maps on directly because when it comes to value, investment, spending time, negotiation, inflation, all these things map on. We already agree with this. We already agree. So your question doesn't work here.
So don't most people go for an iPhone because it can do more and do it better?
No, that's not true. There are phones that have better cameras. There are phones that have better.
That's subjective.
Wait a minute.
How is
Hold
this
on.
subjective?
You're trapped either way is what I'm trying to explain.
I think
Because-
Melanie, I think you're saying like dumb shit because you're trying to like you. I think that you're saying dumb shit because you're trying to like what
It's not dumb.
The
I'm
framework
literally
is the
picking
problem.
massive holes in their analogies by showing I can make analogies that counter it.
You're engaging in the faulty framework, and this is why I'm finding very frustrating in this art debate. I think that you are engaging in the faulty framework, so you're trying to do. You're like you won't. Earlier you wouldn't engage with that hypothetical. Earlier you're like, oh, there just wouldn't make a difference. You're engaging with the faulty framework, and
Yeah,
I would rather do.
My answer was literally no to Fatty's question. My answer was literally no to Fatty's question.
You're trying to disprove them within their own framework, which is already a
If
faulty
you
framework.
want to attack this from a different way, you need to learn how to wait your turn when I'm at least cooking with them.
I've
Right?
been
Now,
fucking
if you
waiting.
guys,
Let you cook
if
with
you
them.
guys are debating,
Hey, look, I like Civil
we
Wars.
should turn this into a whole nother show. Smith, if you want to like maybe jump in and make a claim somewhere instead of attacking your partner, like turn and throw it back at the opposition in the way that you
I have
believe
to
the
attack my
framework
partner
works.
because it's impossible for me to continue without doing that. But the
It's
the
not,
problem
dude, like-
the problem is the framing. The problem is that if you look at relationships purely transactionally, that is the so it is
Right, so bring that up with
objectively
James.
true.
let me just
James
cook
is the
you
one
right
who's
now.
talking about market
Yeah.
shit.
Meth. What is it? How do you define transactional?
What can I get out of you?
That is the nature of relationships, and you cannot
Exactly.
escape
So
that.
that's what makes you a psychopath.
Really. So
Yes.
when you
Yes.
you mean to tell me that when you're looking for a woman, you're not looking to get anything from her at all?
I am, but that's not. That's
Wait
a
a
secondary.
minute, wait a
That's a
minute, wait a
secondary.
minute. What
if
can I
that's-
get from
when
this
that's your
partner?
primary? When that is your primary mode of operation, that makes you a psychopath.
I never
when that
even
is an
said that.
automatic
That's your
background process,
assertion.
that makes you a normal human being.
Meth, you're asserting that.
So
No,
You're just
that's a
asserting that.
matter of
I never
fact.
said it was a primary. I never said it
Okay.
was primary. It's part
Okay.
of a holistic.
Well, then the whole debate is talking about it as if it is the primary thing.
Hey, Smith,
it
let's
is
see
a
if-
generalization.
Let's actually see if you're different from James. Since he's a psychopath, I will ask you again. Would you marry Lily Phillips, the woman that had 100 men fuck her in one day? Would you marry her?
Compared to
Would you marry her?
Would I marry? I would marry her if I loved her.
No, that's not the question. Everybody.
You said, would I marry her?
Stop, please.
You said, would I marry her? So I said yes.
Stop, please stop.
So change the question to a different one.
Let me finish. I got you.
Thank
You have 2014 21-year-old Lily Phillips with 5 bodies, and you have 2025 Lily Phillips, same person with 1,000 bodies. Which one would you marry if they are both the same?
I'm going to relate more to a woman who's had sex with 5 bodies.
Oh, you are a psychopath. God,
No,
like
I
that.
said I would relate. Why does that make me? I'm saying because I'm not saying that she is worth less.
Wait,
I'm saying that I will personally
Meth, you're
relate
just-
more.
Gary.
I'm saying
All right, go ahead,
I'm
Meth,
saying
go
that
ahead,
I will personally relate more to a woman who is more like
Well,
me.
then meth. You're only proving that your own statement that you just said 2 minutes ago is inconsistent. Because
No,
what
I'm
you're
not.
Hold on. What you're trying to get from this
You're
woman.
trying to say what the fuck are you
Oh,
trying
well,
to say?
Well, if you let me finish, I'll continue.
Hey, Matt, you better watch your mouth.
I think.
Well, you're-
Well, I
yeah,
think
Meth,
there's
no,
a
Meth,
translation.
Meth, I don't take it anyway. It's
I
all-
think there's
it's
a
all cool.
translation
It's
error.
ignorant.
Hold on. I think what Smith is saying is that he's not viewing. He's looking at internal value in and of himself,
Well, I
and
can
he's
still
Right.
crush his argument regardless.
That's fine. I
Once
just wanna
again,
make sure that's
once again,
related.
you are looking for the mutuality and the commonality that you can get from this woman, thus making your own pursuit transactional by its very nature. So you don't even know what you're talking about. You're talking on both sides of your mouth. On one hand, you say,
love women who I love. There's not a filter before I engage with, and so it's not like I'm going to say I will refuse to love Lily Phillips because she fucked 100 men. That's why I said no to Fatty's question. That's why I freaked out, because it actually destroys your whole point. I would love her if I loved her. If she was in my life, if she had proximity to me, and I bonded strongly with her, then I would love her.
Yes, but who would you rather pick? You said you'd rather pick the chick with 5 bodies because you'd have more.
I didn't say who I'd rather pick. I said I would relate to her more, so it's more likely that I would be in a relationship with her.
How do you know? Is the follow-up
Because
question.
I haven't had
How do you
sex
know?
with because I have not had sex with 100 women. That's why I would relate to her more.
No. 1 second,
Wait,
please.
you're
A
still
woman.
disproving yourself, yeah.
Let's not reduce women to the sexual activity. They can be entrepreneurs. They can be philanthropists.
Yes,
They can,
but I
they
would-
can
I-
read books. 1 second.
That's
One
my
How does
second.
this
argument,
engage
Fatty,
with what I
not
said
yours.
in any way?
1 second, please. 1 second, please. Please.
How does this engage?
No.
what
We
I
are
said?
going.
Let Freddie
We are
do
going.
his
We are
thing.
going to change all the metrics, right?
Change
We
it.
are going to get Lily Phillips that loves your hobbies, right? She loves everything you love. Like she relates with you. She loves your hobbies. She read the books that you read. She has PlayStation 5 just like you. She likes God of War. She watches anime. All of this, right?
Now you're arguing my point, Fatty.
1 second,
Let him
please.
finish. Let
Nobody's
him
arguing yet. You
finish.
haven't let him finish.
With 1,000 bodies, and you have another woman cook for you, clean for you, laugh about your jokes, doesn't like the things that you like per se. 5 bodies, but she listens to you. She's fun to have around and all that. Which one are you picking exactly?
Lily Phillips.
Fuck one, marry the other. So
And-
I find it funny.
but only if I thought she wasn't going to cheat on me. I would have a conversation with her. Like I would make sure like this is exclusive. I might have some trust issues going into it, knowing that she's had sex with so many people. But if I had reason to believe that she was going to be exclusive, it wouldn't matter to me what she did in the past. Is if who she is right now is what matters to me.
So what
Did
you're
you know
saying
that
is
you had to do all those disclaimers
Right,
to
you're- what
actually
you're
accept
saying is
her?
you
Why
wanna-
you don't have to do no disclaimer for the other woman?
yeah, because what you're saying
I'm
is the
saying that-
amount of bodies that she has is actually going to make you a little bit more reserved.
No, what he's saying
Because
is that
it's
he's not gonna
predictive, because it is a
Smith, please.
predictive. It's
Holy
because
fuck,
it is a
dude.
predictive quality that might predict your future behavior.
Oh, so you need to tell me
Why are
it's
you afraid
perfectly
of her?
reasonable
And
for
why
me
are
to
you
have this.
insecure? Hey, Melanie, can you,
You
call
guys
me
keep
insecure
acting like you
call-
made an own, but
No,
then
can
you
call
just
me
disengage
insecure
with what
like
I
you call
said.
James insecure?
I think we need to touch back on Smith. Would you define that as her value, or you're just saying that's? I think there's a clarification error that needs to come in order for you to establish that.
I think they are unable to understand conceiving of relationships in a non-transactional way.
While you make transactional decisions by your
That's
own behavior.
exactly what I'm saying. You can't understand.
So you say that you don't do a thing, but you
You're
actually do.
failing to understand.
Please help me understand some meth.
I don't think I think you don't want to. I think you
I'm
actively
willing to
don't want to
clarify.
understand. I think
I'm
your
willing to get
worldview
clarification.
Can I
revolves
maybe
around
just
seeing
try to ask a
relationships in a
clarifying
100%
question?
I'm not
transactional
understanding.
manner.
I don't want to make sure. I want to make
I
sure.
wanna
I'm not
ask
wrong,
James a
Annie.
Do
question.
not believe that you want to understand.
I would
Go
love
ahead,
to ask James a question. James,
ahead.
let's say this person that you're with, let's say everything before was at least mutual. I disagree that transactional. Transactional to me means one for one. I only do something for you, knowing that I'll get equal out of it, which I don't think all relationships are. But let's say your lover comes down with a chronic illness, spends a very long time in the long-term care facility. They might get out, but like the idea is that you have a long-term partner to stick by them, right? That they're not giving you anything in return at this point. You're there to take care of them, because at the end of the day, you also want that in return. If you can say that's transactional, I would say that's more mutual, because again, it could be totally unbalanced. It can totally not fit like a market equation, but it's still something we do for each other out of love. These things can be even irrational, right? Your love can happen independently of someone's body count.
You're right, but you don't love someone the first moment you meet them. There are often metrics or commonalities that you must meet before. It's a prerequisite for even beginning in love in the first place.
That's more than sex, right? So now you're saying what I said.
No, because when we're talking about a marketplace, a person, it's not your analogy is completely irrelevant because she's off the market.
Well, we're not talking about a marketplace. You are.
You guys agreed to it. Now you guys want to backtrack.
Yeah, no, I was coming up with an analogy where your market analogies do not apply to real relationships.
But in a relationship, you're by definition off the market.
No, that's just
So-
no, what you're saying is just disanalogous at this point. It
No,
no longer
no.
applies to what humans do and why we get into long-term relationships. That's to have someone by our sides for the rest of our life, ideally at our own deathbed, because you both love each other enough to do that. You can do that to someone if they have 3 body count or 1,000 body count.
Actually
No.
not. Actually not. Actually not. We're talking about pair bonding. We talk about a bunch of things that will make you stay.
Yeah, let's
or
go into
make you
pair
leave.
bonding. Are humans
Well,
pair
I don't-
bonders?
I
Or
don't
are we
know.
humans?
switch. We
Stop,
don't have to
stop. You're
switch.
not
We
going
ain't
to
gotta
deflect
switch.
from that. When you are used to fucking leave, you are creating a pattern of behavior. You are not telling me that a woman or a man per se will have 1,000 bodies, make a pattern of behavior of fucking and leaving everybody that they touch, and all of a sudden they stay on a 4-year relationship until they die with the person that is six next to them. It usually doesn't happen. When you develop a pattern of behavior, you're probably going to be that type of cat until the end of time.
I think actually there's another way that it goes that's also bad. I think that a lot of women that have like, you know, that are porn stars and that have like careers like that, not all of them, some of them just like stay slutty for their whole life, but a lot of them just like never want to have sex again. That's why they don't marry the big giant black guy. And that's not good either.
No,
not making a good
I've
case.
literally seen the middle ground too, by the way, where I've seen porn stars who have stable relationships with people, and those are very like healthy relationships because their communication is open, right? I'm gonna have sex with this dude for my job. Okay, that's clearly not cheating, you know. And then they come home and they share the things between each other that only they share. They don't put that on camera.
So
Melody,
let
most men are
me
not-
just have it since we
Let
kind
me
of
let me.
Oh,
I
you have
have-
more?
I
I
have
can
to-
see your I can see your mouth, Fox. My bad. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't.
Thank you.
So, I think the important thing here is that, regardless of like, you were talking about pair bonding, and I really want to drive something home. Humans are not just pair bonders, not just termite species, and we're not just what we're born with. We can change over time. We can decide, you know what, this whole lifestyle of having a lot of sex really wasn't for me. I've had my fulfillment of that. Now I want to settle down with somebody. And all I'm saying is that if we're going to reduce people down to their sexual worth, as you guys seem to be doing, then I think that the ability to have a more diverse means of sex, having more sexual experience, and being able to reciprocate that, because another word that isn't just transactional is reciprocation, then I just don't see how that's not more valuable, especially in a bedroom scenario.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And by the way, since James already kind of killed the debate, it's time of kind of to take the bazookas out, right?
No, it's 3v1. You haven't convinced me of shit.
No,
Hey, you just said 3v1. I didn't say that. I didn't
So
say that.
Melanie, do you believe, like, do you care about mental health?
Certainly.
Like, it's a very important thing for you,
Of
right?
course. Yes.
What about the mental health of those kids that are going to grow up with knowing that their mother vagina is spread all across the thing, and everybody is going to know that you are Mia Khalifa's son? What about them?
How does that damage them?
Well, don't ask the question. Answer the question.
Well, he asked me how about them, and I can't
Do you
imagine
think their mental
I
health
can't
is not
imagine
going
it'll
to
actually
be shot
damage
when
them.
people once? Look, I'll ask the question.
You know what does? No, I'm not done
I
yet.
will ask
I'm not
the
done.
question.
Hold on, children. Reset yourselves. Take a deep breath in. Y'all have been going at each other's throats all night.
Pause.
Fatty, please. Oh my God. Fatty, please re-ask the question quickly, and then Mel, back to you.
I am going to close the question so she actually has like some. If you care about mental health, do you think the kids of Mia Khalifa that are going to know, like every single friend of them, every single teacher, are going to know that you are the son of the biggest thought in the Eastern Hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere? Do you think that is not going to show their mental health, especially if they are boys?
So I have seen no evidence supporting that. If you have any, then I will certainly look at it. My opinion is no, that it does not. What does damage children is telling them that if they have sex, their bodies are inherently damaged goods and that they cannot be recovered. Therefore, they should feel bad about what they do with their bodies, thus taking away their sense of bodily autonomy. I think that does way more harm to their self-image and their ability to defend their bodily autonomy, which is very important for kids in avoiding sexual assault.
So seeing your mother butthole on Reddit and having a bunch of men saying what they will do to you, pictures of them with fluids from other men, all of that, that wouldn't affect somebody's mental health at all.
I mean, that can happen just from being like a YouTuber, right? Like, so I don't really.
You will increase the chances or decrease the chances of mental health.
I think that stuff I don't know about Reddit, but I think that stuff is mostly confined to porn sites. And if you keep your kids off of porn sites, then that's what parents should do.
Wait, but then you're just admitting it once again. You're just trying to create a bulwark so that they won't get mentally disturbed by it. So if
I don't think kids should see anything to do with their parents' butthole like that. No.
And it's not the adult site. X is not the adult site.
Wait. Being promiscuous doesn't necessarily mean your butthole is going to be online.
Respectfully, you are 100% right? So I will surely ask you this. If you have a son and you have a daughter, right? And your son listens to Fresh and Fit saying, you have to fuck 100 women, you have to have 50 fucks so you can date a woman and know how to treat her and all that. Would you going to say to your son, yes, he is right, go ahead and get as much experience as possible because that will make you more valuable so you can get the woman of your dreams? Are you going to subscribe to that idea?
For the sake of messaging and optics, I'm going to default to the no, they should wait till they're 18.
Wait a minute. Go ahead, Fatty. I already know where you're going. Go ahead, Fatty.
No, you know what? I'm going to get a beer because this is going crazy.
It's totally contradictory. So if there was a female Fresh and she was telling the your daughter to be doing that, would you say that she should go ahead and do that?
If my daughter's underage, no, she should not do that.
No, I didn't. But no, he didn't ask you if the daughter was. If
my daughter's an adult, then I don't care what she tells my daughter to do. That's her. It's my daughter's choice what to do with that information.
Are you changing your answer for your son?
Oh, for my son? Wait, sorry. How are they framing this for my son? That they should also do that?
Same argument.
I don't care.
Argument. So now you don't care.
The problem with how men interact with women has more to do with toxic masculinity than them being sluts.
But you realize you just admitted to it. I mean, if you want to concede the point,
be specific. What have I admitted to?
You said you wouldn't want your son to be taught by Fresh and Fit
if they're underage.
But he never said that.
If they're an adult, I don't give a shit.
That's okay, well, what if both daughters, if both your son and your daughter were underage, you wouldn't want them to be
told to go out there and have sex at that age? No, I don't think they should do that. If they're being told to do it when they're over 18,
teenagers should have sex.
Well, I'm okay with teenagers having sex. I'm not for encouraging them to have sex.
So you would push them, both of them, to go around and fuck everybody because their value is going to be higher, right?
No.
But so you're saying after they're
adults, whenever I decide that they're adults as a parent, whenever I decide they can handle the real world, then that will be up to them to handle that information. I'm saying 18 just
years and one day, your daughter and your son come to you and says, Mama, before we go to college, I heard you on the Raging Tomato a couple of years ago saying that if we fuck more people, we get more value. I'm going to college tomorrow. Should I fuck 50 men and 50 women on the college campus before I go back home? Is it affirmative? Yes, go ahead and increase your value, baby. Or is a no? Be very careful. Would you give your body away too?
Can I say something?
No.
You can't. Okay. Can we put a pin there?
Let Melly answer first.
Let her answer.
So it's disingenuous to frame this as a yes and no, so you'll get an answer in between. There's nuance here. So she has bodily autonomy. She can effectively do it with whatever she wants. When she's out on her own. But hear me out, right? I'm going to say things like, make sure you're safe if you're going to do that much. Make sure that you're not if it's wearing down on your mental health. Going back to what you said before, if it's wearing down on your mental health, then take a break. Don't keep doing that.
We agree.
Wait a minute, Fatty. Let me ask another question. But I'll let you finish, Melanie. Go ahead, Melanie.
But and most importantly, make sure you stick up for yourself and don't do anything that you don't feel like doing.
So you're acknowledging that it could be potentially. You're acknowledging that it can be potentially dangerous. And it could be potentially damaging to
that's what I was going to say. So my whole point is kind of what Melanie is saying right now. I think that I don't think my kids should ever engage in this whole you will gain more value by fucking 50 men, or and they should not engage in this. You will gain more value by staying a virgin. I think they should do what is right for them and what is healthy. And it just so happens that like fucking 100 men in one night, or like just like that kind of thing, is often the result of maybe an unhealthy childhood, or being very promiscuous. But that may line up with what you see as the market thing in places, and I'm 100% willing to admit that anytime that happens. But that doesn't mean, but it doesn't mean like that's not the level that I'm engaging in. Like
we have proof.
You're talking about like value. Like I don't place value. I don't place value on what other people think of me. I place value on what is healthy for me. So if it's actually healthy for me to actually have sex with a whole bunch of people, then maybe it is healthy for me. And there's probably cases where that's probably true.
You're just mentioning that you're one.
We have proof. Lily Phillips, when she got done with 100 men, she literally started crying on the interview when she was explaining what she did. Like
that's
she literally started like bawling and crying. Oh my god!
Out of context.
I would say
that's false. By the way, she wasn't crying about that. She was crying about the fact that she couldn't spend enough time with each man as they expected her to, and she felt.
Are you serious?
It's the same thing.
Not really, no. Because if you have sex with the same amount of men over your lifetime, you can definitely put more time into them and make them feel like you at least cared about them.
Yes.
So
wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute. So you mean are you saying that there's at least? So Melly, you're even actually admitting there's some type of cap.
I'm saying like, look, there's sites like Tinder where none of that is involved. You can essentially do that over a course of a week on Tinder if you really want to. And I don't think anyone will complain because that's what they're there for. They're there for almost like the emotionless sex, just to hook up and maybe even a quickie, right? But like, it's not like, I think in most dating markets, you're going to meet people who get a little bit attached for a bit, and then, navigating those feelings and giving those people space to at least talk about it is an important thing.
So is there anything wrong with a man saying, I don't want to engage with that type of behavior from a woman?
No, just like there's nothing wrong with a woman not engaging with it.
But do you at least acknowledge that there is a market trend here? The market trend being that men just don't want to deal with certain women who are engaging in hookup culture. It's that simple.
Can I respond to that?
No, let me get a response.
It works both ways, right? Like I wouldn't fault.
It's irrelevant if it works both ways because it's just the one statement I have to disprove and the negative. So you're admitting that there is a trend where men don't like that, correct?
Not necessarily a trend in any direction. No.
Of course, there is.
I think we've pointed out that men like more access to women, and women feeling sexually liberated gives them more access to men.
The problem is we don't value these women; they're disposable.
That's your opinion, but you're not speaking for all men.
But the
just
opinion
because
of
you
men,
go to McDonald's 1,000 times doesn't mean that you value the Happy Meal. It's just what you can afford at the time. You actually value more the steakhouse or the place where you actually get good food instead of the McDonald's, even though you went 1,000 times there. That doesn't.
We're not just talking about.
You're saying we, okay? You're saying we value. Okay, what do you value? And if your values are placed on what the zeitgeist is, then that's crazy. I think you should actually focus on what you actually value.
But your own words work against you because you mentioned zeitgeist.
I'm
not. No, I'm using zeitgeist to describe what you think. I'm saying that your value.
That's being that we are the majority. Your own words speak against you.
So so when you say we, when I think about what I value, I'm not considering. There's no we in there. I'm an individual.
You're the minority.
So can I ask you something?
Being
individual.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you something.
It doesn't matter if I'm in a minority. I'm saying that I have that what I value is what is good for me. What I value for you is what is good for you.
I believe you. So let's do this, right? Most men like beautiful, voluptuous woman butthole, like the shape of the.
You mean black men like that?
No, yeah, the shape of the butt. No. Do you like a Ryan Now's ass pause on a man? Do you enjoy it?
Wait, a what?
A man.
You like big butts on men?
Yeah, on men. If you see a man with a big butt, would you comment and says,
Can you explain how this is relevant?
1 second, stop, because he wants to be treated as an individual, so we're going to treat him as an individual. Would you say, man, this is a juicy, voluptuous ass on a man? Pause. Would you do
Smith,
it?
ask him how this
Not
is relevant.
usually.
But
Not-
ask him
not
how this is
usually.
relevant.
No.
No, I'm gonna let him.
What does that
I'm
mean?
gonna-
Not usually. One
gonna
second.
engage.
What does that mean with not usually?
I mean,
I'm
I
usually
want to know
attracted
the
to women.
relevancy too.
Yeah,
But
but-
Yeah. What does that mean with not usually?
I'm usually attracted to women.
But if there's
I
a man
remember
with a
one
dick-
time. I remember one time, like a year and a half ago, I saw
Oh.
like an Instagram reel where there's like a guy like with high heels on, his butt looked good, and I was like, wow, this is like the first time I've looked at a man's ass, and I was like, but that's the only time I ever thought that. So
I
there's
just
one time.
I just want to make sure. Okay, because I wanted to treat you as an individual, so I'm going to leave it alone. Just make sure. I'm not going to over pursue it. You know, we are different than y'all. Live your life. If
Yeah,
that's
but-
what you like, brother, go ahead and get some pussy. It's fine. If this
I'm just-
consensual, go ahead and got it.
So there's
You
no
got it.
relevance. There's
so-
zero relevance. You just wanted to know in there.
No.
There's a big difference I'm trying to point out here, though. When I
Huh?
talk about what I find value in, I'm talking about myself as an individual, and what you guys, especially what is your name? Not Fatty. I forgot
It's
your
fatty,
name.
yeah. My name is fatty. I'm fat.
James. What you keep saying is every time you talk about value, you refuse to refer to yourself, and you say we. You say market. But I think that makes you like mind cucked. I think you're cucked to what other people think. I think you're unable to think for yourself.
No,
No, no,
I
no.
just
So
think that I'm
if
only
you're unable to
acknowledging-
think for yourself, how
Uh-huh.
do you even know what is good for you?
Let me
just
answer
because,
don't.
because I agree, but you're making a false statement here. Just because I agree with everybody, that doesn't mean I'm not thinking for myself. That just means I could have come to the same conclusions as everybody else.
Then why
because
do you
some
need
things
to
are just so
justify it?
self-evident.
Why do you need to justify it with the we statement every single
Because
time?
for the
Why do you
topic
need
of the debate, because for the topic of the debate,
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have
yeah,
to.
but the
I
reason
can-
why I'm doing that is because in my statement, I'm just showing you that I'm just going to prove that there is an observable trend to your
that
very
doesn't
own language.
matter.
It does matter for the topic of this debate in your own language when you talk about zeitgeist, when you talk about
you'd rather talk about no, it does because we can define it doesn't matter because we can define it different.
Let me just
You're saying that value
Let
comes
him-
from what other
Let me
people.
respond.
You're saying that
Hold
value
on,
comes
let
from
him-
what other people
Let
If
him
you're
think.
gonna
hold
use
on.
the language-
Stop. James, please finish. Smith. Please don't interrupt meth. I've been seeing meth literally in the chat all night,
That's
so I
crazy.
apologize.
Real meth.
In your own
You have to stop shaming this man.
in your own language, you are framing it that you what the hell? You are basically
Fatty, I fucking hate you.
No,
in your
it's
own
just-
language, you're
he
basically
has a-
framing
he
it
has a
that you're
beautiful
you're
smile,
distinguishing
Paul. This
yourself
is
from.
what to
Yeah,
celebrate.
I'm doing things differently from the crowd. But you're admitting that there's a crowd, and that's the point. The whole
No.
point is to acknowledge the trend itself to disprove and negate the statement. That's the whole
I do
point.
want to
No,
get
no,
in here at
the
some
question
point.
of the debate is: Are women more valuable if they have more sex, higher body count? And so I'm saying they are. Like that is they could be or they could not be. I'm not evaluating their
Yeah, but
value
if you
because
can't
that's how
argue
I
that-
operate. But what you're saying is no. I'm not going to think about it as an individual. I'm operating as a collective. So what other men think, that's where I'm going to derive my value. And I'm saying my value
I can prove
is
that
for
you're just like us.
me.
I can prove that you're just like us. You go outside your house and you see a stone in the ground. Do you pick it up and put it on your pocket and go home? Is it a regular stone?
The regular stone.
Yes.
No.
Okay, you go outside. You see a diamond on the floor. You've been reading about diamonds, so you know exactly what a diamond is. Do you pick it up and put it on your... Diamonds are literally regular stones. They are abundant around the world. You can even make in labs. They are not rare at all. They're just a stone like
But that's
everybody else.
because-
One
that's because I'll
second.
make-
No,
that's because I'll make-
stop.
That's because I'll make money
No,
off.
no,
I understand.
stop.
I understand
Let
what
him
you're
finish.
saying.
Let him finish. Let him
Don't
finish.
grandstand. I understand.
Let
You
me
made your point. I
finish.
engaged with it.
Let me finish.
Oh, fuck.
The only difference between a
Grandstanding.
regular stone and a diamond is
I
because
get it.
because there was billion of people that decided altogether that a diamond is actually valuable. They are
Yes,
not
and
more
I'm not,
valuable.
so when I pick up a diamond, yes, I get it. I fucking get it, fatty. When I pick
I'm not
up a
talking- I'm not
diamond,
talking-
it's because I want to sell it.
I'm
When
not
I date a woman, it's not because I want to
I'm not
fucking
talking
sell
with
her.
you,
It's
I'm
because it's
talking
going to
with
be
the public.
fulfilling to me as a person, as an individual. I don't pick up a rock
I'm
that
not
I want to
talking with you,
sell
I'm talking
because
with
it's
the
going to be
public.
fulfilling to me on a personal
Wait,
level.
fulfilling to you, right?
So, gentlemen and Furby, I bring this conversation back because I see where it's going, and I don't think anyone's really dived into it about about the transactional portion. When we say something is valuable, idealistically, we mean that there's a transaction possible later. So if in the event that a body count determines a value, then that would determine that sex would be transactional, or a girl is transactional because of her body count. So I kind of like want to pose that question to you to discuss regarding the transaction of women, or body count, or sex, or something to that nature. Go.
May I point
Was that
something
as
out?
like a question?
Yeah, sure.
Someone said when I pointed out having someone at your deathbed, they said, "Oh, well, that's transactional." My problem with that is a lot of times only one of you can stand by the other's deathbed. Unless you're counting it as some sort of lottery, which I think is a ridiculous way of framing a relationship. It's clear that like these things are not one to one. You don't always get what you put in, or a return on investment, or any of these things. These are mutualities. You take on a mutual risk and a mutual benefit, but it doesn't make it transactional in any way more than like the ecology or in the world around us is transactional, because these things exist along lines that like I can't even describe, like love, which can make us do things for more than just the most rational behavior. I also wanted to point out that like we're having, what Smith is doing is creating like two tiers of discussion. We have the meta discussion of whether or not we should even entertain the idea that value is a valid construct here. I'm taking it for granted. I'm taking it for granted that it is, based on the notion that this is how we address the question at hand. And so by value, I don't necessarily think we need to mean anything in terms of currency or anything like that. We can talk about, does this improve my life to have this person in my life, for example?
And that's what you have to prove.
Valuable to you.
And that's what you have to prove. You have to prove. You have to prove. And once again, if sex is not transactional, right? And you're taking sex out of the way, because once again, you can have.
Can I stipulate one thing? Sorry, just to be clear, because I might have misspoke. It can be transactional. It's not necessarily transactional.
Do most women see sex as transactional? Do they? No, actually,
I disagree.
Do most women see sex as a even exchange?
I don't know. I can't speak for most women.
No, Fatty. He just admitted like 30 minutes ago that women control access to sex. Why would they do that if they don't? If they view it just as flippantly as men? Why do they do that?
That actually is biology. Even the fact that women, like, you can't see when women are in estrus makes humans unique, and women are especially good gatekeepers for sex.
So if they're gatekeepers for success, why are they doing that? But by one of the reasons of the fact that
when you reduce them down. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Why are they doing that if it's not? Why are they doing that if it's because they view sex the same? If they view sex the same, they wouldn't control access to it.
When you do end up reducing women down to sexual objects, that's the only form of empowerment they have left.
So it's just off of politics and power dynamics. It has nothing to do with just simple nature or simple intuition or simple cause and effect.
No, I think the simple nature is that both sides of the equation want to feel empowered in some way, not every way, but in some way.
Wait, but so can you acknowledge that they're different?
Yeah, they can sometimes be different. They often overlap, though.
So the behaviors and the proclivities or the desires can be different as well, given that we're different.
Can be, but I will point out that there's more overlap than difference in a lot of these things.
But you wouldn't be the fact that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, the fact that men don't wife up literal prostitutes begs to differ.
They do.
They do.
So, they absolutely do. All prostitutes, all whores, all OnlyFans girls end up lawfully married.
Of course, there's like 5 tall, 6 feet Asians. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying generally, is that the case?
Yeah.
So I think you're making a normative claim right now.
No, I'm not. I'm not making a normative claim. I'm not making a normative claim. I'm saying descriptively, do men wife up women who are of low status? Low status meaning
yes,
super amount of bodies. Generally, that's the case.
Yes.
Please explain. Please explain.
All these OnlyFans girls all get happily married. I mean, maybe they get divorced or whatever, but they all get married for sure. There's tons of men willing to fucking marry these women.
So there's absolutely objective. So there's no negative stigma towards women who have.
There is definitely negative stigma, but that doesn't change the fact that men want to marry them. Just like there's similar to Trump, like there's a massive negative stigma to Trump, but that doesn't stop him from getting elected.
Also, your framing was
but it's
disingenuous, James. I
once
have
again,
to point this
hold
out.
on.
Your
Once
framing was
again, it's because you're
disingenuous.
saying
I am going to point out
Meth,
how,
well,
because
hold on,
you said
Meth.
you asked
Meth, you're
about
basically saying
someone's
the
personal
Go ahead,
choices.
Mel. Go
You
ahead,
asked
Mel.
about someone's personal choices, but then you asked about stigma, which is a social phenomenon, and it's the individual's choice whether they let that stigma make their decisions for them in their relationship.
Good,
That
James.
can be
being
true, and my
James,
statement can still
James.
stay the same because yes, people are going to make subjective experiences, but when you map them all into reality, how many experiences does one person make against, or one group of people make against the other? Back to Smith's analogy about how Trump, a lot of people don't like Trump because he's an asshole, but the
That improves this
majority
fight.
of people voted for him. Once again, your arguments are never like, they always fall apart, bro.
I think
But
that
we're
his
not
approval
talking
rating
about
is definitely
elections.
less than half right now, and yet he's still in
The
office.
majority of men,
And like
I want-
the majority of time he's
Americans
ever
voted for
existed
him.
as a politician, his approval rating is less than half.
I
But,
want to ask you,
I think that actually motivates a lot of people to get really excited. I think the actual negative stigma actually makes creates market value for people, and especially in the current marketplace, negative stigma, Kanye West, that creates massive market value. So I think in this current context, the OnlyFans girls, all the sluts, they're the ones with the most market value, even though they have so much negative stigma. So if you want to talk about market value, if you want to talk about that and comparison what everybody wants, I think these sluts and OnlyFans girls and whores have the most market value.
All right, so
even though negative stigma is higher.
All right, so let's see if this maps onto reality. The negative stigma being that, let's just say, if you bought from this company, they're going to take your product and they're never going to give it to you. That's a negative stigma, correct?
No, that would be be a fact. That's not a
So
stigma.
if people found out that a lot of these companies were selling the product but not actually giving you the product, would that not create a negative stigma?
That would be like a fact of the quality of the product. That's not a stigma.
Hold on, there is a.
How about
there is
a
stigma.
good example to use would be Cybertrucks
Mel's
have a
agreement-
negative
Hold
stigma.
on. Let James
There's nothing
finish.
wrong with the product of a Cybertruck, but they
Smith,
have a
James
negative
is right
stigma
here.
because of Elon Musk.
He's describing
I'm
a
just
stigma.
explaining that the negative stigma will create a downward pressure on demand. That's all I'm explaining, and this is all I've been trying to explain for the entire debate. It's not normative; it's a completely descriptive claim here.
So you can't go based on that assumption alone. If you look at how people react to things that are like shocking, just on that, for example, it would be safe to assume people don't want to see shocking things that make them uncomfortable. But if you give them a little box that they can poke their head into and view 30 seconds of whatever random shocking clip, then they will keep their head in there for much longer than 30 seconds because people enjoy the rush of doing something that may not even be good because it's disgraceful, because it feels shameful. And then you encourage that. And I also want to point out,
Makes them mad.
like there's a reason that at the last GOP convention, Grindr literally broke the internet.
I have no clue how this maps on.
Because the GOP makes people feel bad for being gay.
What?
I don't know.
That's actually pretty funny.
We have real Smith literally saying that some men have really nice butts, and you're telling that people.
One man
Men do
does.
have nice butts. What are you talking about,
Yes,
Sarah?
people
Do
are
we have a
afraid.
clip of men with nice butts?
No, it's
I'm
not
just kidding.
even
I'm
like
not- it's not my show.
The conversation is kind of ridiculous, but even at face value, right? Like I know you guys leftists like me, right? Is that fair to say that if a woman has multiple kids by multiple men, that her value goes lower? Is that fair?
Sorry,
A woman
can you
that
repeat
has
that?
kids, let's say a baby mama of 4. Is that fair to say that the woman that has 4 kids by 4 different dads, that her value, like the market value, is
Okay,
lower?
are we talking about like a holistic metric where every little way that someone can be valued?
No, just on face
No,
value.
that's not the subject, please. We're talking about. Come on, man.
If you're into mothers, then no, they would have more value.
Okay, but generally, are men into women who have kids?
I don't know.
Women
Do you
who have
any-
kids,
You don't
women who have
know?
kids,
Wait. If you
women
don't
who have
know,
kids will have less partners. We do know
Oh,
that.
you
If you
don't
pretend
know?
you don't know that, you're a fucking. I hate that. Don't pretend that's not true.
When
obviously
when I was having my sexual endeavors, I got with a lot of baby mom, not
I'm
my
not
baby
talking
mamas,
about
but
your
other people's
anecdotal-
baby mamas.
No, hey,
It did not bother me at all.
we don't care
I
about your
know, it
anecdotes.
doesn't
Hey,
bother
folks,
me.
without the respect, they were pegging you, not the other way around. So now that
No.
we take that away, and the possibility of getting
You
pregnant is not there on the table, let's go with people that actually can get pregnant. If, again, and I'm not going to ask the question because you're being disingenuous, we kind of agree that for the most part, women that have multiple kids for multiple fathers, their value is going to go down because those kids come with baggage. Those 4 men, those 4 parents come with baggage. The fact that you are pushing something that it will increase the chances of this woman getting those said kids, then lose said value, is kind of ridiculous. The STD rate, the chances of get trauma go up. The chances of being impregnated by this man go up. The chances of STD go up. All of these things go up. So how do you become more valuable?
Wait, with a mother? No, not with someone who's a mother. That's certainly not true.
Huh?
And by the way, a lot of that can be mitigated with sex education. The STD thing is mixed, but everything else is mitigated with sex education.
So it's definitely a fact that a mother there are less men who want to date or marry or partner up with somebody who has kids. That's definitely a fact. But that doesn't mean that she is less valuable. There is a man who will find her valuable, and it's just harder to find him.
For clarification too, you could be a single mom and only have a 1 body count, right?
Yes,
so we have to be mindful how we track that information.
Yeah,
and this
but
is why I said
and
this is why I said multiple kids with multiple men. So we don't go to 1 kid and 1 body.
Still just be 3
We're
kids.
not talking about that person. We're talking about the person that clearly is having sex, unprotected sex with multiple men, though have multiple kids with multiple people.
Oh, right. What if she waited like 5 years with each man before having sex with them?
Value is still lower.
Value is still at least 9 months.
No,
perhaps you guys can understand this analogy.
Good one, Smith.
I brought it up in the
she
past
literally
on one of the debates or one of the panels. It's like when it comes to investment, time, value, money, all these things, resources, it is very important that you understand that not everybody is going to be as liberal as the way people would argue. So some people are going to make a lot more conservative decisions. And generally speaking, the majority of the population in America is conservative, comes from a Christian background. So whether you call it purity culture or something regressive, whatever, the perception is still there.
What's the trends of attitudes about sex, though? Are they getting more accepting of sex or less? More accepting, right?
It's likely that they're more accepting, but you're still not accounting for the fact that
I don't want to live my life.
You're not accounting for the fact that the majority still has the rule on the culture here, and the culture still stands that
that's the fact.
Men are going to make conservative decisions when it comes down to who they want to settle down with.
You're right. There's a different life principle that you have than me. Okay, I stay true to what I feel is good for me and what I like, and trying to optimize myself for what feels right for me. And I am very willing to do that at odds with what the norm is. And I'm very aware, painfully aware, that means that the partners the women who will want to marry me, have kids with me, lowers. But I'm still completely confident that it just means I need to put more effort in, and there are women who will find me very valuable. And so those women exist. So I am still. I'm actually more of a commodity, or I'm more not a commodity. I'm more of a I'm more rare. So I'm actually more valuable to those niche women. So my value goes up to some people, and to the majority it may go down. But that doesn't mean that I do not have value. It means I still have value. So this whole you're appealing to everybody has to be. I think a valid path towards successful reproduction, successful life outcomes is to be a more niche. Like say you're going to become like a goth girl. You're going to have a fucking goth person. You're going to have access to a certain community.
We're not necessarily arguing what should or shouldn't be done. We're arguing about the descriptive case.
But I'm saying my value. Yes, you're saying value only exists as it is what it makes you more like the majority, because it means you have the most options. If I'm a more normal person, if I try to have more normal skills, more normal life, if I have like a big money-making career or whatever the most normal thing, most normal appeal is, I will have the most options for partners. But if I try to have a more niche life, if I focus on things that matter to me that other people don't like, I will have less options, but the people who like me will like me more. And people who like me, not only that, but they'll like me for who I actually am.
Yeah,
and that's what I value. I don't want to marry somebody who doesn't like me for who I actually am and likes me for how normal I am, how much I try to fit in. I think that will be much less happy. So that's why my value system is catered onto what I actually care about personally.
So let's go. So let's go with that, right? And you keep doing this the whole night. We say woman like tall man, and you say Danny DeVito has bitches too, right? And he's special because he's
That's 'cause you've read
4'10". No. The reality is you are always going to find an exception of people that are not the standard of value, but they
it doesn't
still
disprove
get
the
played.
rule.
Yeah, the exception to the rule. But the reality is, if you put Danny DeVito 4'10 is a 4'10 chunky man that is balding in front of most women.
Hey, I love Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
Just
but
kidding.
women
Yes,
who find him,
yes,
it doesn't mean he's
one
not. So you're
second,
saying
one
that because most women
No,
will not be
please,
attracted
can
to
you
him.
stop? Can you stop? Can you stop? Stop for a second. And you as a man, okay? Let's assume that we pick a random man off the street. This is a random man off the street. It's not you that like men butts. He's not James. He's not Fatty. He's not nothing, right? You pick a random man off the street and you bring him 2 women and you say, this woman has 5 bodies. This woman have 100 bodies. That man probably going to pick the one with 5 bodies.
This
That's
does
the
not
reality.
contradict what I just said.
No,
Does this-
No, you're
does
right.
this
You're right.
contradict
It
what I just
doesn't.
said?
But here's the problem.
No.
Here's the
You
problem.
are always going
Here's
to
the
say,
problem.
but there's these 2 men that are going to
Right,
pick the one
because
with
you
100
continue-
bodies.
You
That's not the
continually
problem.
have like this like it's like a centered focus. You're trying to
me.
continue to use your anecdotes to disprove the majority.
It's not
statement.
about an anecdote. I'm saying
It
that
is.
I know it's about a different life principle, a different guiding principle. My guiding principle is you're saying your guiding principle for these choices is to be more normal. You're saying that being normal, because you're saying the best value system is the one that appeals to the norm. That's
Look,
what you are saying.
No, time out. I'm not saying that. I'm just getting you to acknowledge that there's a normality in the first place in your own language.
And I have repeatedly.
Okay, so then Smith, you're admitting you concede the debate. You can argue from the anecdotal.
That doesn't mean I
Not
concede
relevant.
the debate, you fucking retard.
Look.
Dude,
we-
I'm saying
hold on, Smith,
that
hold on,
you
hold on, Smith.
think that
Smith,
value
real quick,
exists
Smith.
because of what
Smith.
everybody else thinks, and
Smith,
I'm saying it
real
exists
quick.
because if I'm
quick,
able to
Smith.
achieve happiness
Smith.
through what I think,
I just want to
even if
offer
it's
olive
what
branch.
less
I just want to
people think,
offer an olive branch,
that's
just real
still
quick.
good.
Smith, if I could. I understand that you and I are actually in agreement. So if you want to concede this part, we can go into the normative case. Because if I've already made a descriptive case, me and Fatty, we can go into the normative case. If we've established that.
Are you pretending to be a fucking retard or actually retard?
I mean, if you want to continue,
every time I say this shit, you are unable to understand me. You pretend you can't understand.
because you keep
Are you
using
actually
zeitgeist,
you look like
Go
Mark
ahead.
Zuckerberg and you have that blank stare, like you're fucking empty
Gentlemen.
inside? I think you
Right.
actually are.
So
All right,
you keep
reset.
saying normal zeitgeist.
Yes.
These people do these things, and I understand it's different, but I want to be different. You're acknowledging that there's a difference between you and the majority of everybody else. You're only you're only digging yourself in a hole, and I find it funny that you don't understand that.
So you're unable to comprehend what I'm saying. You're
saying-
actually fucking retarded.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand what you're saying.
You're so retarded.
Right. So those are not
Okay,
arguments.
maybe we've
Steel man
milked
me.
most of this.
All right. So
You man me, bitch.
So basically, you're saying, I understand that people have a way to go, and that it's basically they're swimming downstream. I want to swim upstream because it actually makes me more marketable in this marketplace of
That's
the women
not
that I
why.
want. The women that I want are going to want me because I have a different way of.
No.
Okay.
No,
So I understand what you're saying. Do I not?
I'm going to
You
go against
seriously not steel person
I'm
our
going
argument.
to go against my teammates.
Smith
real
just
quick.
agreed.
No, James. Let me go against you real quick because this is like, now you're wrong, right? It's like you coming around and saying women love pearly white teeth, and then you say no, they're not. They love shitty teeth with
That's not what I
motherfucking
said.
like real Smith, right? Like real Smith will literally say that I have beautiful woman kissing my beautiful mouth with all these like doing gang signs and all that shit. So that proves that beautiful woman don't like pearly white teeth. That shit makes no sense.
That's not what I said.
You know woman ate your
But
motherfucker.
you're also retarded, right?
Smile to the camera. Smile to the camera and says, I am proud of this, and see how many women you're
Hey,
going
Smith,
to
if
get.
you're just going to call people the arsehole, just let me pick some of this up.
That mouth is disgusting.
So
It's disgusting. And you know, just because one woman kissed you one time in 2000, probably 2014, that doesn't mean that
I'm
most
able
women
to
will
I'm
kiss
able
you.
to get pussy.
okay, I have a
No,
question for you
because you
guys.
pay for it.
I have
Go
a
ahead,
question.
Mel.
No. Women,
So-
I'm avidly against
come on,
paying for it.
dude.
Hold
I'm
on.
very
We're-
invested.
we're- we're-
Calm
I'm very
down.
invested
I
in the
was-
women that I have sex with being
Right there.
actually into me
Gentlemen
for who I am.
and Furby,
Can
I'd like
you
to
smell
let
what we-
Furby go.
So I-
Furby's going. Damn, that's crazy.
We are running out of time. I wanted to give people
We
a
have all the
chance
time in
to
the world,
refute my
Melanie.
assertions of how women gain value from sex, which is primarily with experience. They learn what they want, how to stick up for their boundaries, how to respect other people's boundaries, how to communicate more effectively, and generally how to provide more diversity in the bedroom. These things lead to increased or better outcomes in relationships and increased bedroom satisfaction, thus making relationships last longer. Do you refute anything I said, or are these all normative claims?
So you're making descriptive. Okay. So it sounds a little bit descriptive and normative to me. So you're saying that the more bodies a woman has, the more experience, the more she knows what she wants, the more confident, the more she's basically ready to settle down.
Once she's had enough men, and she's like, why would I need more? I'm not gaining anything from this personally, so
The
I might
problem
gain
is
something
it's-
more from a long-term
What is that?
relationship.
How does that value? How does that benefit the man?
Well, for starters, you get to have more sex in general because more women are in the marketplace. There's more supply to your demand.
Do you think men value sex to the extent that it comes to embarrassing them potentially?
Yes, because I feel like we do sex in
Hello?
private, unlike a lot of other species of animals. So therefore, even if something's embarrassing, we can still enjoy it.
But just because you're failing to understand that your relationship isn't always in private, there's also a public aspect to it. You're going to be at a law firm with your partner.
Not if it's long term, yeah. If it's short term, like it's a one night stand, then nobody has to even know about it.
So you're just saying I'm trying to make the case that those type of women you don't tend to settle down with, and if they do, it's going to be kind of like embarrassingly so. You're not gonna. It's like marrying somebody who you didn't necessarily.
Right, but if a woman
probably-
says to you, to your face, "I'm done with that lifestyle. I've had enough men, and I want to find someone who I can live for a long time with," what's wrong with that? How are they any different than a woman with a lower body count saying the exact same thing to you?
I'm not
So
arguing that there's.
I think actually, if I could translate for both of you, it sounds like James, you are arguing from the value, basically from the perspective of a man valuing a woman, whereas Melanie is arguing from the perspective of value as an internal value.
No,
It has-
I mean it both ways too. Like when I say like being able to offer diversity to the bedroom, that's a woman's ability to do more things for you that you might enjoy. When she knows what she wants, that means she can tell you, "Hey, there's this thing I really enjoyed. Do you want to try it?" Instead of you having to propose it. Those things can really enhance your experience as well.
But it goes against the nature that you admit. If women control access to the sex, then they're going to be more exclusive with it. So a woman who treats it so flippantly is going to behave somewhat of an anomaly on the marketplace. It's going to be a negative perception on it by its very definition. Because if you can acknowledge it, even on the opposite end, if you can acknowledge it on the opposite end.
Can we make it quick? Because my response to you is that I think a woman who feels ashamed about putting her body out there is going to be even more conservative with putting her body out there than a woman who feels liberated.
And what's the problem with that?
That you'll get less sex.
And what's the problem with that?
I mean, I think you've just enraged a lot of men.
No. I don't enrage nobody. What's
Men
the
want to
problem?
have more access to sex. You agreed with that. You
It's
agreed
fine.
with that premise.
We're going to suffer. We're going to cry in the car. What's the
Do
problem?
you not
with that?
agree with the premise that men want to have more sex?
No.
Yes or no?
No, there's
I'm
always.
going to give you two more minutes to finish this thought, and then we'll go to closing statements.
Please. 1 second. Can a 1% of population being prostitutes give sex to all the population of men? Is that possible?
No, probably not, because most men don't actually
it's
want to
not
pay for
possible.
sex.
So it's not possible.
Most men don't actually want to pay for sex unless it's like
No,
maybe
lady.
like
You're talking about sex like it's something very nice that people can live without it. Let's assume that is that. Like we always going to have a percentage of hoes. Just because 5% of y'all are giving it away like candy doesn't mean that most women should actually be doing that. And it's fine.
You're acting like there's a surplus though, but what's all this red pill bullshit? Like, oh, we can't find anything because they're all hypergamous and all this stuff. Like,
it's not red pill. If the average age of marriage is 30, what was my woman doing between 16 and 29? This is not a talking point. It's the
living
reality.
her best fucking life. What's wrong with that? You were also fucking
wrong with that
hoes.
is- what's
You were
wrong with
also
that is
fucking
you're-
hoes from that
look,
time, and she
No,
could devalue
and
you if
that's
she wanted
exactly-
to.
and
You've
that's
given her
exactly
no reason not
crazy.
to.
And
All
that's
you're
exactly
doing is just pouting about the. All you're
we
doing is
believe
pouting
that
about the
women fuck-
perception.
we believe that women should fuck whoever they want to fuck. We have two problems. They get to 30 and they lie, and that's the biggest problem. Is like me having
Sorry, Patty, that didn't come through. What was your first point?
Herbie. 1 second.
I couldn't hear what you said. What was your last point?
So my point is this, right? For example, if I'm on an open marriage with a woman and I have other woman, it's not a problem. The problem is when I cheat on her. That's the lie. Is I am with her, I say I'm monogamous, but I'm fucking another woman. So now it's not because of the sex, it's because of the lie. It's the same thing with
But that
woman.
happens after you start the relationship.
Let me finish. The problem is not the body count. The problem is that women are not being honest about it. So when they met their husband at 29, they will go ahead and they take the miles of the car and they'll pretend they're
don't filibuster the whole 2 minutes.
97. And the second part is freedom. You have the freedom to do whatever you want, but there's no freedom of consequences. You can literally go ahead and fuck everybody that you want when the man
we don't have to punish women for having sex.
Father of your kids at 29. You don't have the right to tell that man that he
Patty,
should.
why do you need to punish women for having sex so much?
Because women punish men for many things, and we don't bat an eye.
1 second, please. 1 second, please. It's not punish. Actions have consequences. Let me give you a clear example for you to understand, right? Let's imagine that is a woman that is very attracted to Smet. And that woman goes to his IG and sees him with the dildo on his forehead saying, I'm a little unicorn. This happens. This is real. Real Smet has a picture of him with a dildo on his forehead and saying, I'm a little unicorn. If that woman loses the sexual attraction for him because the motherfucker is a unicorn, I think it's fair. I'm not going to judge it against that woman and says, how dare you judge this man that put a dildo on his forehead and call himself a unicorn? I will say, respectfully, you're kind of right. It's like you have the right to
I assume you mean Smith sent that to you, but there's a big difference there between something that happens within a relationship between two people and something that doesn't happen in that relationship with someone else who's no longer involved in the relationship at all, and that woman no longer carries as baggage, because that's all you're assuming here is that women carry baggage that you can't point to.
We can get into the baggage. I can get into the baggage. It's completely easy.
Let me just say this, then you got it.
10 seconds, Fatty, and then I'm going to close it.
You know why women are they're the same or more judgmental as men when it comes to sex? I remember asking this on a panel with Sarah. If past doesn't matter, would you date a man that got a train run on them by the LA Lakers when he was in college? Would you date a man that was clearly homosexual in the past? He had a bunch of dicks in his motherfucking mouth, and all of a sudden at 30 he says, I'm delivered and I like women. Most women will disqualify that man. Most women will literally use his sexual experience against him to disqualify him from the market and say, you fuck other men, so you are less valuable. So if a man fucking other man disqualifies him for a bunch of the population of women making less valuable, why you fucking the same man that I'm talking about makes you more valuable?
I think you should increase your sample size a bit, Fatty, with your survey there.
Alrighty. I think we're also still mixing up value versus interest. Those are two different things. Finding somebody
Can you define that? Why you say that we keep
and I'll make it one small argue point towards what you were saying, and I can do it now because we're already in closing. So you say about, if a man was getting railed by and obviously is interacting in like gay activity, I'm not attracted to that, because to me, I would be attracted to a man that likes vagina and vagina only, right? Not getting plowed up the rear end. I also would not be attracted to a man of that stature, because I would presume that at some point in our relationship, he's probably going to ask me to peg him. I wouldn't want a man that would want me to peg him, right? So that's a sexual experience in terms of like how he's interacting sexually on a gay, not gay level, right? I don't care if he fucked, the Lakers cheerleaders, right? Whatever. And I don't care if whatever, like that doesn't, but to me, like if you're either gay or you're not, or, if you're in some kind of explorative mode, on whether you're gay or not. To me, that means you're not attracted to women. And I don't want to compete with not only just other women for your attention, but now other men too. Right.
So if his past experience determine how you're going to treat him in the future,
Whether he's wait a minute, whether he's gay or not. That is a whole different story. Not in turn, like if he, like was having sex with women, that's not a thought in my mind. To me,
but the topic is not
right. But what I'm saying to Fatty's argument,
the topic is not do women.
If you're gay or not, that's
3v2.
Yes, so you care about with his holes and with his mouth, but men shouldn't care about what the woman did with their holes and with his mouth.
If he's getting plowed in the asshole, that is not heterosexual interaction.
We didn't even dive into the homosexuality, but we can still make the same case on both ways, because it's not. Does the woman's value increase as she has more sex with men? It's just sex in general. So we can still make that case.
To me, it's not okay. This is where I'm saying is I think there's a difference between value and interest level, what you're attracted to. I'm not attracted to men who like to get poked in the butt.
So gay is a no-no for you, right? To a man being
gay is a no-no for me.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm going to ask you this again. Forgive me. Have you ever kissed a woman?
Have I ever kissed a woman?
She just blinked once.
Yes.
It means yes.
Definitely.
Yes. And listen, and if a guy tells me, hey, you made out with a woman, so I'm not attracted to that, then hey, fucking say okay. No worries there.
Sarah,
there's a difference between getting plowed in your ass as a man and having sex with a girl. Tell me it's not.
Right, but then by your own logic, Sarah, you're basically saying if all the women that have sex with homosexual sex, it would probably make her body count, or it would probably make her value go down even further. Because if men are not attracted to homosexuality,
mixing up value and what you're attracted to.
I'm still not convinced that by your arguments, I'm not convinced you can even distinguish the difference between the two. What is the difference between value and interest?
Can we save this?
That's what I'm saying.
I have to.
That's what I'm saying.
Point of just timing, because my partner said I have 90 minutes left to wrap this up and head over to his place. Should we? If you want me to stay for an hour for Q&A.
No, we can go ahead and go into. Let's.
I'm sorry, I don't want to be a buzzkill.
No, it's okay if you're on limited time. I just the gay thing I think is not as relevant as they think it is.
Me, but not for thee.
Artichoke Hearts with her new membership. Welcome back, my love. Doug Ross getting his new membership as well. Doris Myers with the big 5 says, have a great show. That's on your side, Fatty.
Thank you.
Orca Speaks getting their new membership. AB says, I got gifted this membership. I don't know how this is even a debate, not going to lie. Thank you for whoever gifted me. I'll enjoy emotes. Yes, the emojis down there are pretty fun. Even Lord with his membership says, I'm surprised a woman is talking about a woman, quote unquote, is talking about females. That's yours, Furby, if you want to dive in at all. It's up to you.
I was sending text. I would love to have had I can't say the word, but a real woman, for those who that can't handle the other word, to debate with. But that's most of the ones that I messaged did not get back to me. And then it became Prawn, and Prawn apparently suggested Meth, and that's how we wound up with this. But at the end of the day, you certainly should listen to women before men on these sort of issues. So not the worst point in the world, in my opinion.
Inked with the big 5 Mondays. Gotta love them. Hi, Sarah. Have a great stream. Thank you. Harsh with the big 2. Hashtag body count matters 2025. Women are better cheaters. HQ reacts with the big 2. Says, here we go. Powder Dusty with a big 10 to say eggplant emoji.
Stupid Dusty.
I love Dusty. HQ reacts with the big 2. Says 2 are paid. Bang bang fired. I don't know what that's 2.
I'm confused too.
2 are paid. Bang,
Math
bang.
was just making gun motions, so maybe it's in response.
No, this was early on in the evening.
Emotions are a response to another super chat.
2 are fair enough. Montero with the big 2 says in memory of flow state and actually put in the eggplant emoji. And then from Cash App, Bane Bear says, love, low body count matters. Love your show. Thank you. T.O. with the big 10, just for me to tell you all, fuck you. Thank you.
Damn, thank you, Joe.
Jeremy Ryan with the big 5. If body count increased women's value, then why don't they proudly advertise their count as opposed to refusing to disclose?
Facts.
Because men will shame them for it instead of like seeing their value.
Are you saying men in the majority? You're saying men in the majority, huh?
Yeah,
that's actually a great
You're
point.
making a
Why would they hide it if
claim.
it's actually valuable? Yeah,
that's a normative claim. You get these things wrong a lot, dude.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Here's how it's not. Here's how it's not. I might have a subjective experience. For example, let's just say I subjectively say that green is blue and blue is green. Teddy or Fatty agrees as well. Green is blue and blue is green. You have 100,000 men who say green is blue is green. You can objectively say that a bunch of these men have an errant perspective. That still proves what I'm saying.
So when I say men, do you think you can insert the word majority in front of that and then?
Well, you're speaking generally. I can only do that.
Yeah. Are
All right, so then you
normative
lose the
claims
debate.
general? Are normative claims simply general?
So you're saying
They're
you're saying
generalization,
that
right?
are normative claims generally general? Is that what you're saying?
Are they a generalization?
Statements?
Sure. In one extent.
Oh,
but
my
not
God,
in
I
this, not in
skipped
this
one. I did skip that, actually. I apologize. We can go ahead and do that. That's totally on me. And while they're doing their closing statements, I did drop the link for members only in the community post. You're welcome to go ahead and start jumping in backstage. Fatty, closing statements, starting with you, please.
I'm very happy that my opponents fought each other
Yeah,
and
we like
kind of
Civil War.
they don't even agree with each other. Shout out to my team captain James. I didn't know him before today, but he did a great job. And Mr. Smith, I think should do a GoFundMe to get some veneers. Other than that, I will support with $100 if you open it. So I got your back, brother.
Wonderful. James, to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Smith couldn't even argue the position completely. His language, basically, he told on himself with his own language. I think it's hard for him to make a distinction between normative claims and descriptives, and even to the point where the last comment also exposed Mel's as well. I think it's interesting how Melly often refused to answer Fatty's questions directly, and no one really was able to disargue against the marketplace value, marketplace trend that I pointed out. So I just want to let that air out. So
Thank you, James. Smith, to you.
I think that on the other side of the debate panel, we got people saying that value is when the majority agree on something. That's basically what James was just laying out. If everybody thinks that green is blue and blue is green, that means that that's basically a fact of a matter. It's almost objective if everybody thinks that. Okay, what I'm saying is, okay, then maybe that's not what he's saying. I don't even think he knows what he's saying. I think he keeps switching it. But what I'm saying is that value is an internal thing. And I can be a weird freak. I can have fucked up teeth. I can put dildos on my forehead. I can get pegged in the ass, and then I can get happily married.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Ah,
I can get happily married.
I didn't know he got pegged in the ass, Sarah. I didn't know that.
Stop. Closing statements.
Just got excited. This motherfucker getting excited.
I didn't know that.
Pause.
So I can do all these things, and I can be happily married and have a shit ton of kids, and that woman will find me very valuable. So I don't attribute my own value to what the majority of people think about me because I'm not a fucking child. And similarly, I don't attribute the value of women to what the majority of people think about her. I value her based on what I think about her, and I value myself based on what I think about myself because I'm a mature adult who actually grew up past the age of 12. It's a concept that James is like, so he's like, he doesn't understand. No, I'm clearly illustrating the difference right now. That's the difference you do not fucking understand. And it's so infuriating.
Thank you. Furby, to you.
So we had a long debate, lots of ups and downs, ins and outs, lefts and rights. And I tried to be as consistent as I could be with affirming a positive absolutist stance. I think I maintained that absolutist stance without very much true refutation, just symbolic refutation. I'm going to start with a quote from Jesus, and I'm not really much of a Jesus fan, but I think he said it better than I could say it myself. Jesus in Matthew, or according to Matthew 15:11, Jesus states that it's not what enters the mouth that defiles a person, but rather what comes out of the mouth. And I think that that's very wise. So women who know what they want and are more sexually accessible or more valued by men, as my opponents conceded, I demonstrated market analogies do not tell us the full scope of relationships. While Smith is right, my aim was to answer the prop, not dance around it, but thanks anyways for being my opponent. Subjective standards aside, we are left with things which demand increased relationship outcomes or bedroom satisfaction. And before I make my absolute final statement, I will point out I answered 90% of the questions directly. So, James, you getting mad at nuance is cope and not an argument. My opponents have agreed that a sense of self-worth while seeing their partner's worth, having appropriate communication skills, knowing their own boundaries while respecting their partner's boundaries, and offering more diversity and play contributes to those things by way of not refuting to any of it directly. Since they are only contributive to normative claims and not refuting my positive assertions, I'm going to assume my claims remain undefeated.
Thank you, everyone.
She wrote these after the show?
Huh?
She wrote these all after the show? All of these?
I wrote it. I wrote it during some downtime when you guys were going against Smith.
And to you, Fatty, you are appealing to hypocrisy with your gay butt sex stuff. Appealing to hypocrisy is fine, but it is not going to work if you utilize that same technique back at you. For every man who says they want a virgin woman is also out there with a body count higher than 50 and so on and so forth.
I believe in double standards.
So okay, but it's an appeal to hypocrisy that I can use it too. So if you're utilizing the hypocrisy argument, then I'll use it too.
Sarah,
back at you.
Double standard is literally an hypocrisy.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is so if you're saying that I'm a hypocrite for saying that I wouldn't be attracted to dudes who like butt sex, then I could say you're a hypocrite for not liking women who are with a high body count.
No, that was not the point. You are judging if you are judging that man for his past, his sexual past, it's very fair that I judge you for your sexual past. Now, if you want to go in details and tell me which part should be scrutinized and which don't, is up to the conversation. But if your sexual past is something that you're going to hold against a man, I should hold the sexual past of a woman.
That is a sexual preference, like in terms of gender, what they're attracted to.
How are you ever going to have a fulfilling relationship thinking of people this way, right?
Completely irrelevant.
What did you say? What did you say?
How are you ever supposed to have
a real quick question?
What did you say exactly?
I think Fatty's asking me what I said, by the way, James.
Yes, just make sure.
Tomato, what time do you usually get off of the when do you usually conclude the debate?
We're gonna get through
as far as the entire stream goes. How long?
We usually go to like 2 or 3 in the morning.
I was just asking for somebody in the comment section. Thanks.
Yeah, we usually go for.
What did you say, Furby?
So I just like something to ponder on more so than something I need a direct answer for, because it's not part of my arguments. But how do you expect to have a fulfilling relationship when this is how you see women as like a body count?
Because it's just part of the heuristic.
No, wait. You literally said if my body count is higher, I get more value. You said it, then the woman too, right? You said
as I'm arguing within the framework of the prompt, yes.
No, that's why I wasn't willing to do that. That's why I wasn't willing to do that.
Respectfully, and this is why you lost the debate, because you're being disingenuous.
No, I just said this isn't an argument on behalf of that debate anymore. I'm asking you person to person.
If you believe that having an high body count makes me more valuable, I don't give a fuck how I see woman, I treat woman. As long as I keep going through them and fucking them, I'm going to get what I want.
All right, children. Rude Mud Crab coming in with a big 5. If bodies equal value, calling a woman a slut wouldn't be offensive to her.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. Actually, the slut march and feminism does try to destigmatize that word.
They tried and failed.
According to you.
There's
They're
a lot
still
of
failing. We're still having arguments like this, and people are still getting butthurt.
Even Lord with the big 5. In a slave market, would a female virgin slave be worth more than a non-virgin female slave? There are serious health risks associated with promiscuity.
Yeah,
What if
like
she's
if you don't
really,
practice
really
safe
good at
sex.
hand jobs? What if she's just really good at hand jobs and she's given them billion man hand jobs and you want a really good hand job slave?
Like the time when they were slaves, like feminine hygiene was garbage, by the way.
No
So that's
risk.
just a terrible argument.
The former would obviously be more valuable.
Yeah, at a time where feminine hygiene and safe sex didn't exist. Thank you for playing.
That's true. T.O. with the big 2. Meth is very insecure.
I agree.
These niggas projecting.
Oh my God.
Whoa,
Tied up.
whoa. Watch your mouth.
Tied up with the big
Hey, man.
50 just for
Watch
me
your
to
motherfucking mouth.
tell you not to ever say that again, Smith. Doug Ross with the big 5. Super sticker just for me to say shh. Tied up with the big 50. Hey, cutie Sarah, they are conflating the amount of bodies a woman has with the amount of people who knows. Don't worry, shall be the balance in this conversation.
Is that not what Smeth's doing? I thought he was supposed to be the balance in the
Hey, Sarah,
conversation.
Hey, Mel, cook Smith. Even waiting to cook Smith. Cook him.
Before you go apologize, what about you said, sir?
Fuck no.
You don't apologize?
Not here.
Why not here? Apologize, take the shit back.
Hey,
You were
man.
doing jokes, we were doing jokes. Apologize, take the shit back.
I thought we were both doing jokes.
Absolutely, but take that shit back. Apologize.
Then you take your shit back.
Yes,
Get back-
I apologize for mentioning that you have pictures with the dildo on your forehead and you have fucked up teeth. I apologize. It's fine.
What about the face?
What about the face? Apologize.
Look, Smith, he doesn't need to. He doesn't
No,
need to.
no.
Just go
You
ahead.
actually need no, James. We
Just
were
go
going
ahead.
to
Let him say it in
No.
the
I'm streaming to my people too. Right now, there's a bunch of people on the other side that look just like me watching these men saying the N word out of nowhere. Apologize, sir. Apologize. Especially people that are supporting the show and are sending money to the show. Apologize.
Yeah, I can understand.
You don't apologize?
No.
Okay.
I will say it is a no word on this channel for me. As far as I don't allow anybody to say it. So out of just respect, let's not utilize that term anymore. I do that on purpose so that we don't have issues like this.
And yeah, Sarah, I appreciate you are my favorite, but I'm closing out my place and I'm going to sleep. I appreciate y'all. I'm taking the ball and going home literally because there's some things that I don't stand for. And this one is one of those, right? I think we were very respectful, for example, to Furby when we're talking about something that is very.
Don't fucking sit here and act like you were respectful.
No.
Don't pretend. And also don't pretend like I meant that.
Every time I come here, people told me the TOS. Be careful with the TOS. A white person calling a black person the N word, I actually think it goes against the TOS. So I'm out. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, Fatty. Hey, man, it was nice. Fatty was nice, bro.
Nice to see you, sir. I'll be talking to you. Sarah, thank you very much for being here too. I appreciate it.
I think I'm gonna have to dip out too.
Oh, you scared of the black people in the chat now? Come get you now. You better. All right, well, you gonna take that L, bro. Don't let nobody see you at Walmart.
All right.
All right. If you want to dip, that's fine, Smith. I'm not going to hold you hostage or anything.
Dang, saying the N word and running. That's crazy work.
Barb's coming in with a big 20 saying Melanie is showing typical libtard behavior. Melanie, do you also need a source for you to know that you will never be a woman?
Actually, yeah, sure. Send it my way because every time someone sends it, I find a part of it that proves you wrong.
Actually, I will talk about that. Okay. I don't think it's right to. I mean, I think it is wrong to use the N word, and I shouldn't have done it.
Will you apologize just to clear the air?
To who?
To the panel, to whoever used it again.
Probably Fatty.
To the panel, no, not to Fatty, but to the panel and to the audience. Yes. I don't want to. The thing that is frustrating is Fatty acting like he's like above me, like he's not like insulting me the whole time and stuff. Like I don't understand That I don't like that. This is like
I think you took it to a new level when you did that. Is his problem?
Yeah, I think there's always like a line, right? And I think that's why I just don't let that word be here, because then nobody can cross it at all on any regard, no matter who you are. But I think that was definitely a line that I think everybody has common sense to know that once that one's crossed, like you're opening the door to other things that don't belong here. Ticky Tack with a big 5. Mel is actually being reasonable with these arguments. Good job. That was to you, Mel.
Thank you.
T.O. with the big 5, just to send a bunch of tomatoes. I love you, T.O. I love you and all your maters. And then we've got T.O. went as far as getting their own membership, just to come in and say, what the fuck? Doug Ross with the big eyeballs. I think their brain is exploding in this one. Powder Dusty with the big 2 says Smith is cut off. T.O. with the big 2, Smith is acting like a psychopath.
He was he was my debate partner, and I'm not going to roast him too hard because of that. But yeah, there are certain points where I'm just like, he can do that. I'm going to stick to my arguments.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all just kind of got a little messy there. T.O. with a big 5 says, Sarah, at this point, they need a lifeline, a call from a friend or something. LOL, this is abuse. Original Gaming with the big 2, just for me to say, Jesus fucking Christ, what just happened? T.O. with a big 5, Smith looks like a Netflix documentary waiting to happen. He wouldn't hurt a fly. I wonder if he was getting a little, maybe the chat was starting to break him down a little. He seemed like he was getting very frustrated. Montero with the big 2 says, stop calling it big 2, passive aggressive bitch. I call them all big because in my mind, everything's big.
I didn't even think about that.
I did. I always say the big this, the big that. Enoch with a big 10 says, if men truly cared about body count, then they would point out the stats that state equally negative outcomes for promiscuous men, but they never seem to do so. Shaking my head. That's a good question to
Women
you,
don't care.
James. But I mean, in terms of the health risks, the STDs, impregnating woman, ending up being a baby daddy, all of those things are still risks to you nonetheless. Would you view that as a part of the argument?
Well, so my whole point of the argument, or my whole point in this debate, was never to make a normative claim. It was just to point out that a trend that people can acknowledge. But to go on to whether or not people should value meaningless sex, it's obviously stupid, and it makes you degenerate. That's about it.
Wait.
On both
Can we
cases.
value something because it feels good?
Yeah.
And so sex for pleasure is stupid, even though it's good in the or valuable in the pleasurable side of things.
Yes, because it's out of the context of either, in my stance, marriage, but if I could take like a normative or a normal stance, like if it's just treated flippantly, like it's a handshake, it makes you a degenerate.
That's more of a reactionary stance, but okay.
It's a conservative stance. It's
Sure.
probably 67% of the country's Christian, so it would make sense. And then another.
You can't infer those things. It does not follow. But I will say,
why wouldn't I? If the religion teaches that you should wait till marriage, and people who fall short of that, they're obviously going to have a negative stigma towards them.
I will say that humans have always had like non-committal sex. It's just like a part of human beings. It actually separates us from like primates and stuff like that, who have it on occasion but don't usually. They're still either usually more of a pair bond or a tournament things. We're smack dab in the middle of like our characteristics in terms of being monogamous and polygamous. It's just that in terms of marriage, we tend to have institutions of marriage for monogamous families.
But they're there for a reason. Is to make sure that the society doesn't collapse like it's doing now off of stuff like what you're
I don't think
purporting.
society collapses just because of these things. They're like,
Well,
I could easily argue capitalism is bunk, and that's why society is collapsing, because we gave Donald Trump power.
We don't even have a capitalist society. We have a mixed economy here.
Like, you mean like how America is barely socialist?
Well, it's partially socialist by its own central planning through the banking system.
So would you say like Canada's mostly socialist? Because I would disagree. I'd say it's mostly capitalist still.
Well, I would say they're more socialist than America is.
Sure, but like I would say Canada's somewhat socialist, not barely. America's barely socialist.
The only point I was bringing up is you can argue that it's a capitalist thing. I can equally argue that it's a socialist thing here in America. But
We can get
I
to
don't
that.
want to belabor the point.
Speaking of capitalism,
Yeah, let's hold that thought. Yeah, speaking of capitalism, Uncle Rick with the big two said, so there's a double standard.
yeah, as I pointed out, they want virgins, which would mean that like women have to like back off a lot of men, but also as a normative claim, a lot of men generally want to have a lot of sex, and so supply and demand curve is a big issue there.
Well, I just want to dive into this real quick. When you say normative, are you making a value statement or are you making a descriptive observation?
It means it's a generalized is statement.
No, normative, well, from my understanding, normative means you're making a value statement of a thing. Descriptive means you're just pointing out. You're
It could
pointing
be coming
to
from
a thing.
different places, but
Well,
as someone else pointed out, you
I
seem to be
encourage you
all
to
over the
look at
place.
I encourage you to look at the definition.
I'm not the only one who thinks your definition is a little all over the place, but I could be mistaken. I'm not.
Let me just look it up. If I'm
I'm
wrong,
not a
I'm wrong.
super.
Look it
I'm
up.
not a super strong logic debate, bro. I'm more of like
And in with the big five, I'm disappointed that creature in the top right exists. DJ
Answer
So
directions.
Lovely.
Oh, were we flipped?
Yeah, no, you're on the top left.
I'm the
So
only
I don't-
creature here.
Maybe they didn't like Fatty. DJ So Lovely with the big five says men see a high body count as a loss of value for women, but not for men because men don't value men. They value women. Women are the prize. Very nice. Thank you.
So did you want to look up the definition of normative claim?
I looked
you want
it
me to
up
read
and
it
it's standard or norm, basically.
What?
Yeah, you're going from a norm, which would be a generalized is statement.
No, it's a claim that asserts that such a thing ought to be the case. That's what a normative claim is. When you're arguing for ought.
I think you're confusing descriptive and prescriptive. Prescriptive is the opposite of descriptive, not normative claim.
Bruh. Just Google normative claim and it shows.
Let's go ahead into open panel dumpster
Let's do that.
fire. I did put the link in, it's pinned in the chat. So if you do want to jump on, it is now open to the public. Feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other side.
Holy shit, that took fucking ever.
All right, and I have two more in the I know you. Let me go ahead and get an overlay up, everyone. Killdrake, can you voice confirm for me, please?
Absolutely.
All right,
Use
what's
some simple
three?
math.
What's 3 plus 3?
6.
All right, are you going to show anything on screen that should not be put on screen?
Not at all.
All right. Okay, rules of this game. I'm in charge. You shut the fuck up if I'm talking. Overall, I'm going to... I'll do it right back at you.
Wrong way.
Yeah, you licked me instead. That was weird.
Did I?
Lucky.
No, I'm facing this way.
Nah.
It's flipped for us.
Can I say something?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Hold
Yes.
on just a
Go ahead.
second. Let me establish the rules. Like Powder Dusty has no charge here. He likes to think so, but he doesn't. Outside of that, if you are talking over me, there's a problem. If you're talking over each other, there's a problem. And to the chat, you have all the rule in the world. You can pay to throw anybody backstage except for Furby and James. They are protected for the evening because they are the main panelists. They're here. They did their time. They've earned the slot. Outside of that,
panel princesses.
Panel princesses. Outside of that, kick anybody else off you want, or you can pay to revive someone who has been booted. Okay, panel's open.
So look, value is determined by two things. That is supply and demand.
Value already.
It's determined by value and demand. The reason that sluts were considered valuable is because back in the day, the demand was high and the supply was low. Okay, this is why we have this intrinsic value of a slut, is because we have this forbidden fruit idea of it, and there is a market principle that when you see a low demand, you put a high value on it. That's the whole crux of this argument.
Does that work for ramen noodles? Is that why people want so much ramen noodles?
Absolutely, it works with everything.
No,
Same
it
thing with
doesn't. There's
milk.
the product called inferior goods, and they work the inverse direction. So even though you started off on the right foot, you ended on the wrong foot.
And people aren't
It's the supply and demand of that pussy. That pussy, if there's a big supply of it, there's less demand for it. Or there might be more demand for it. It's just not worth as much.
That's also like a basic tenet of economics, is if people are rational utility maximizers, then a person also cannot be a product at the same time. Doesn't make sense.
I want to ask
Sure,
a
a person can
question
be correct.
actually. If all of the women in the world decided that they were going to wait until they got married before they had sex, what would the men do?
They could do nothing. They could do nothing but agree to the woman's terms. And it actually exposes a wider issue.
I mean,
Women are actually the ones who are controlling what's going on right now.
I disagreed with James the entire debate almost, but I sort of agree with him there, because it's like, look, if a girl's talking about body count or something, and we're both waiting or something, like in theory, that's sort of the ideal. It's the same thing. We're gonna say that we're waiting, or this is like an important human thing to, get jiggy with it or whatever. If some girl tells me her body count, I'm just assuming that's the type of relationship that we're going into. I might not be ready, or I might not want that type of relationship, right? Like, I want to talk about whatever it is, something else. But that's also not me judging that person. It's just saying, look, I'm not trying to have that type of relationship.
Would men value instead? Would they value marriage more differently instead of just like the concept of having sex?
Yes, because all women are doing is just responding, or all men are doing is just responding to a market pressure. If the woman,
I can't believe Smith said the N-bomb and then ran off.
Yeah, that's crazy work. That's crazy work. Men would just follow suit. If women said you need to rub your nose and stand on one foot in order to pet or in order to have sex with you, men would likely comply.
I disagree. I think the anger and rage towards women that we see out of things like the red pill movement towards women and feminism and stuff like that, how they start to scapegoat all these different things because they feel like they're being blueballed, is proof that it doesn't work like that. Men create the demand, and we're just saying
how do they create this demand, Mel?
By wanting to have sex with as many, to up their body count as much as possible.
When you see the growing population of LGBTQ, you're telling me that men have no other option? I kind of doubt that.
Are you wait? Are you
really quickly?
People,
we keep talking about value, and it's a completely subjective thing. I would just like to ask the question on the panel: what does a man who wants to have sex value?
Vagina.
A meat.
A woman who wants to have sex with him, right?
Right.
A woman who will have sex.
Right.
Right. So like this subjective valuation that you guys keep throwing around, you're not even throwing around the specific of it. You're not even sticking to whether or not your value is anchored in like marriage or what. When you're talking about this kind of value, we're hovering around this idea, but what men want is to have sex. So the things they value are the women who will give them that sex.
There's a whole industry called prostitution that would argue with you.
But they value
that's what I'm
pussy more than they
no, that's
value
an
money.
argument for me, right? Wouldn't be these industries if men didn't value it, right? If they didn't want it.
But the topic of the debate was not do men value sex? It was do men value women who have more sexual partners? And I was just arguing that there's
steal person my arguments by chance.
Well, real quick, I was just arguing that there's an order to things. There's a prioritization, and the women who have more bias tend to be on the lower compared to the women who have less.
But some guys prioritize pussy over money.
To still man your position, if I could remember it, I remember writing notes. So to go through, it's basically that the woman's pursuit of becoming more sexually actualized, this actually increases her ability to have relationships.
To have better relationships, sure. I'll take that.
I never needed to go into that. I never needed to go into that.
Well, no, that's gaining value, because if you have better relationships that are more sexually satisfying in the bedroom, then you've increased in sexual value.
But it comes at it can come at the expense of her having fried dopamine receptors. It can come at the expense of her being it can. Okay, so here's the thing: just because I don't have a source, a peer-reviewed source that says a woman does X, therefore X, that doesn't mean the perception of a man's market behavior isn't going to. It's going to operate regardless of that. So I don't need peer-reviewed studies. I don't need scientific evidence. I just have to point to, hey,
really
look at what all these men are doing here.
Behavior, by the way, is like media perceptions of both groups at the end of the day, the women who are promiscuous and the women who aren't. When you portray women as being promiscuous as an empowering thing, then more men are more likely to see it that way. You think that this is some innately driven biological thing, but no, it's not. It's completely driven by the media and stuff like that.
No, when you bring it to its logical conclusion, if you bring it to its logical conclusion, by your logic, I'm having confessional talking about, hey, look, I'm really lusting after.
What does this have to do with my logic?
Because the more men you have sex with, the more value. And if the person you're having confession to says, yeah, oh, I had sex with her too. How do you think this man's going to feel? Oh man, he should feel empowered. He should feel happy.
What if she's
that has nothing to do with what I said, James.
It has everything to do with it, because your entire argument is based off the more bodies, the better value.
If you live in a goddamn city, the chances of that happening are so freaking low, you'll never have to worry about that.
You have to take that position. You have to take that position.
Furby to go and
then don't live in the country if you're worried about this.
Right. So either I have to go escape the country, or I have to deal with whatever gaslighting you're trying to get us to do.
If this is what you live for, if this is like the only thing that will determine whether or not you get into a relationship, your only hope of finding one is in a city. I'm telling you right now.
I don't understand.
Furby, your actual point about propaganda with like TV shows and stuff like that, that's been happening ever since like the early 2000s, like possibly the 90s, depending on the show. Like they've been trying to go and show the liberated woman, like with shows like that, but it's been like rejected by men wholesale because we find it.
No, it's been rejected by the red pill movement.
Burlesque shows.
Bro, you're acting like
Evan, you're jumping in way too late, I think, because there's been antinatalist movements in the United States. So we've been asking what
there's been like those kind of TV shows
since
since like the 1960s. Like this is nothing new. Like what are we talking about?
And like it's particularly
like I Love Lucy
sections,
with like
may I please
its own,
respond to Evan?
like,
I just need a chance.
stuff.
Like he was speaking.
The first
to me,
time
right?
Jim's favorite
I would
show.
really love to respond to Evan, guys. Thanks.
Go for it, Melanie.
So Evan, I will point out that like, shit, I lost my point. Never mind. Second time. God damn it.
Well, Evan was talking about how they rejected the early 2000s propaganda of promiscuity that they're trying to push for women.
Yeah, I do remember that. But yeah, no, I lost my train of thought. It's okay. Someone say something.
Women didn't used to have their own plot lines in shows and movies and stuff like that. That's what I was going to say.
Oh,
and even like what's her name? Bessie Smith. I forgot who it was. There was a blues singer, black lady who recently passed away. Like you were expected when you got on the radio to sort of sing these really epic, very emotionally dense, sort of soaring tales about what was happening in society and stuff like that, right? We didn't want to see like, what's her name? Barbara Corsican or whatever, the Shark Tank lady. We didn't want to see, Kamala Harris, even in 2025 and 2024, people like downvote that stuff.
Plenty of people want to
That's really
see.
stupid.
All I'm pointing out is that, like,
That's like a definition of a
this is
dumb
what I have
person.
sorry, Duff, but this is what I have to point out. Like, this is a particular sect of the internet where we get more of these
What's it
men.
even about?
Go ahead, Millie. Is a particular sect of the internet where we get more of these men?
More of these men who are mad at like feminism and stuff like that because people like Andrew Tate or Ben Shapiro and the reactionary right in general have told you to feel this way. But if you go out into the wild and you ask like women in general, you're going to get mixed answers. Don't get me wrong, but I think you'll hear a lot of women, more than you might expect, say, "I found Kamala Harris to be very empowering to see. I'm glad to see women on TV who aren't just basically incubators for men."
Yeah, I think you're misplacing where you think the origin of whatever pushback is coming from. I think the red pill and the conservative things are they're basically finding something that they can agree with what was already there. That's why they're so popular.
I think they're finding men who can't get laid, aka the incel movement, and people who
Right.
sympathize with it, and telling them to blame feminism and the general sexual liberation of women.
So Mel,
think
is it
would
reasonable
call it
for
red
men?
pill if they
No,
knew
okay,
that
okay,
the
okay.
Matrix was
Back to
written by
Earth. Back to
trans
Earth
women.
a little bit. Back to
Go
Earth,
ahead, go ahead.
Melanie.
Probably
A little
not.
bit. A little bit. We agree, Melanie. We agree about so much of this. We agree about so much of this, but I don't go to sleep thinking about the sexual liberation of women, right? It's like,
I never claimed
if I
anyone
happen-
does.
but then I don't understand what that has anything to do with the relationship in any possible world for me.
Well, I can show you how it would.
So
I
Evan
can't-
was
there's a lot I
Evan was
can't say here,
pointing
but I
out
would
Evan was
consider.
pointing out how like in the mid 90s and 2000s stuff like that there was more representation for that. And actually if you look at pollings from TV and stuff like that, those shows had greater numbers from women. But
What about
anyways,
ancient Rome?
he
There-
said
there
that
was no
he said that it
women
didn't
to
work
dance
out. He
on
said that
the
it didn't
stage
work.
in ancient Rome.
I'm not done, dude. He said it didn't work out. And my only contention with that is like the only way you can believe that is if you're listening to the reactionaries who don't want it to work out in the first place. I've seen a lot of evidence that it has worked out. We can get into that, but I'm just saying it sounds like something that I would hear in a right-wing reactionary echo chamber.
So I'm gonna have my Andrew Tate moment and say the only reason you've heard that is because the loudest, most obnoxious people on social media are out there, and they're the ones who are touting like MAGA for life, or
Sure, it goes both
flip
ways.
side of it, the lefty side of it is, oh, Gloria Steinem's just getting started, and it's like,
Sure,
great,
I'll grant
if
you
this is
that.
physical-
Yeah,
if
and
this
it goes
is
both
a
ways.
physical
For
ideology,
sure.
but and I'm glad you grant this, right? I don't think anyone disagrees about, but like, I mean, it's obnoxious. It's nonstop. Like,
Are you married?
stop.
Are you married?
I'm not going to talk about my personal stuff on the internet.
I'm not trying to expose you. I'm just trying to explain that there's a lot of single people who are having these
I don't know what
conversations.
that even means.
There are a lot of single people who are having these conversations because it affects them directly. They have superstitions or notions about why it may be, and they're picking sides. It's just they're both picking different sides.
That's their life. That's not my life.
Yeah,
So
but
by
it's
the way,
the majority of men who a lot of men are taking issue with
I don't know what that
the body
means
count
either.
thing.
By the
A
way,
lot of men are
James,
taking issue. Go ahead.
I'm a long-term non-serial monogamist. I've been with my partner for 5 years and I intend to stay with him for the rest of my life. We may have a semi-open relationship, but it's going to be, we communicate about it first, stuff like that. And obviously nothing shady going on behind each other's backs and, consent from both sides, but we still haven't encountered that yet. And in general, we just haven't gotten married because we don't have like the resources to put into that and the time really. But with it in general, I find marriage to be a beautiful kind of ceremony and thing that people do when they make that commitment in the long term. By the way, I am in no way against marriage. I am against telling, girls growing up that like you have to think about yourself as being prepared for the one man you marry. And if you have sex once, you've absolutely tarnished yourself. You've opened up your box and now you're damaged goods. Because like I said before, that almost certainly leads to self-image issues, body image issues, and I don't know how you think it's okay to put kids through that.
Because every gender, the reason why male is because every gender has a expectation for their performative side of a relationship. They're prepared in the future for it. So
I don't
there's a level of performance. There's a level of performance when it comes to these relationships, and you can't get around that.
I don't think railroading young girls into a box like that though is good for them.
Yeah, I think I can agree with her on
Not at
that
all.
in terms of, I mean, girls and young teenage ladies and women all like face a struggle on a daily basis from societal norms, and the societal norms heavily push on their imagery. And I think that's I can sympathize with what Mel is saying to that like we already have enough shit that we have to live up to. Like, could we just kind of relax on a few?
You really don't. Just don't have a lot of bodies. Don't be disagreeable. And
I don't
stay in
think
a
we can
committed relationship is really not. It's
So
a
add
lot
more shame.
compared to what
Yeah,
men
you're
have
not
to do.
you're not
Compared to what men
hearing.
have to do, you
Know your
it's
place,
easy.
woman.
You're playing easy mode.
You're
Compared to
not
what men have to do, it's easy
hearing what
mode.
I'm saying though. Like we are the keepers of lots of shame. It's everything we do and everything we interact with, how we look, how we carry ourselves, how we talk. Just like you said, don't be combative. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. From a very young age, we're already taught to be compliant. That's why we go to school so very easily, because we're just taught that girls are just compliant. And we are subjected 110% to societal standards that the media puts onto us. You can't even be if I was a stay-at-home mom with 3 children, I would still face some kind of scrutiny with whether I'm breastfeeding my children for too long, too short, if I started with a bottle, if I had a vaginal birth, a cesarean. Like, every fucking thing a woman
Compared to what?
does is scrutinized.
Compared to what?
What do you mean compared to what?
Compared to what? To men?
Do you wear shoes in the
Yeah,
kitchen?
but where you get off for everything you do in the sexual marketplace, like creating a demand for sluts and then trying to shame them.
Well, I will even go as far as saying, let boys be boys. Okay, when boys or men are doing something really, really, really dumb, we always follow it up with let boys be boys or men be men. You don't often get shamed for behavior or things you do or the way you look, so on and so forth. Now, everybody that's overweight gets fat shamed. That's across the board. That's not gender.
Really now.
That's not gender oriented, right?
Disagree.
Okay, I don't want to simp too hard. But I agree with everything Sarah said. Partially because I'm pro woman. I'm pro having a if you have a daughter, I'm
Do
pro
you
being a
love
girl
women,
dad.
Doc? Do you love women?
I love women. I love Sarah. I'm
You love
girl
men?
dad. And I'm also the reason I say that is because I do think if we look at like whatever, I'll open my textbooks. We can go look at like criminology data. We can look at employment data. We can look at like the patterns after like guys get laid off or fired. Guys have their own problems, right? So respect women in their issue, and don't do ticky tacky stuff. No ticky tacky stuff. Like go for the, Sarah says land the plane, right? So land the plane on the big stuff. Like that's the stuff I care about.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with a woman's sexual past being a big thing for a man.
Robert Demita in with the Big Ten says, thank you for the stream, Sarah. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, Robert. I think every stream you send something in just to say thank you. You are the kindest person in the world of chats. Thank you.
Anybody say that it does add value, that the body count does add value?
Yeah, no, that's what I was arguing the whole time, Fatty.
Well, right, other than Fox.
Yeah, I would say that it adds a lot of value. I mean, this is simple. This is simple. What everybody's forgetting is that we want our girl to be good in bed, but we don't want everybody to know it. But we want her to be able to perform. We want her to be able to suck good dick. We want her to know that use 2 hands while you're rubbing the dick to make us come quicker.
Be careful how we paint this picture, because it will get scrutinized by YouTube if you don't paint it correctly.
Oh, my bad. Yeah,
let's keep
I might need a drink of water after that.
We need her to ride the pole and make sure the pole extends the flag correctly.
Yeah, but how are you so sure that like guys that's even like that's what they want when they're thinking about like, oh, we're gonna spend 60 hours each week together. That's the thing I'm going for.
Because we're horny.
Yeah.
And if we get a virgin, We're going to have to teach her different.
I already know that.
Well,
okay, well, I mean, I'm just elaborating on your question.
Tide, I would push back.
No
on that,
offense,
'cause
no
this is-
offense.
this
Okay,
is
who
promoting-
doesn't agree that the more you do something, the more experienced you are? Just let's start right there.
Yeah, but you can gain experience from
Wait, wait,
seeing
but
it.
I got a lot of
One at a time.
Typically, the more experience you have, the more worth you have, right? You start your job out here and you gain some experience and you work your way up the ladder, right?
Tied
So
up,
let's
I'll
talk
agree.
about like movies, right?
No,
When
wait,
gals put out movies,
That makes someone valuable.
they don't get
though.
paid very
That
much,
doesn't
right?
that don't make someone valuable.
Dustin, you keep trying to talk, but your mic is coming in like a fishbowl, so nobody can hear you anyways.
Yeah, you got the cricket microphone. Just be quiet for a second.
Let's think of value like
I want to know
monetarily.
that does anybody disagree with the more you do something, the more experienced you are? Just start there without the buts.
Yeah, I can
Melanie,
agree.
Melanie, we know you have a lot of butts in your life, so let's exclude that right now. All right.
Yeah,
so the more you
but
do
is a
something-
female going to come into that? Like I
That's-
just know
okay,
I'm not putting that there because I
saying.
know a female is going to come into that. I don't want to talk about that like that.
A female is going to come into it because it's talking about women. Okay, right. Now, if we have a version, we're going to have to teach her a certain amount of things to please. It's going to take some time, which is up to you to have the patience. Which, if you have that prerogative, good for you. You guys probably watch The Sound of Music for breakfast. All right. Now, if you have a girl that is already experienced, then you have to teach her less. Matter of fact, she might show you shit you didn't even know you liked. All right. But the problem comes with how many people knows who she fucked. Now, that's the problem. And the dude that looked like a bulimic Harry Potter, he's gone now. What he failed to mention is that it's not about what the perception of the people are as far as us valuing them off of that. It's just that men are naturally competitors. So yes, we want our bitch to look better than everybody else. Bitch meaning a term of endearment. We want our bitch to look better than everybody else, of course. Yes, I want somebody to want to fuck my bitch. Yes.
I'm not going to totally agree with that because I'm just going to say I don't personally, I don't have an opinion about like what my girl looks like or something like whatever.
Come on.
If she's
happy?
I'll simp. If she's happy, I'm happy.
Wait, hold on. This is going to be. This is up to him though. This is his opinion. Would you like her to be attractive?
Huh?
Would you like your girl to be attractive?
I think that's it's fair to say that I would like her to be attractive, and more than anything, I would like her to be comfortable in more than one situation.
Hold on. Dustin, I'm gonna remove you. I want you to go like fix your mic or something. It's driving me nuts. And I just gotta make sure I know who this. I think I know who this is, but I just want to make sure. Is that you, Bricky?
Yeah, it's me, Salanov. It's me.
Okay, just making sure.
Doug, let's be reasonable here. Doug, if your wife had a 9 out of 10 qualities fucking set, 9 out of 10 intelligence, 9 out of 10 ass, breast, whatever. Fuck the physical. 9 out of 10 intelligence, 9 out of 10 family, 9 out of 10 social. Would you rather have a 9 out of 10 in those and her be unattractive, or a 9 out of 10 and be attractive? Which one would you prefer?
I mean, I can't answer that because it's like, what's life going to be like in 20 years if I marry someone who isn't spiritually or intellectually?
Why are you bringing up hypotheticals? I'm talking about now. Which one would you prefer?
She's going to be continuously attractive.
20 years
that's like saying, like, we don't know if women will eventually grow dicks. So I don't know.
Let me help you out, Ty. Let me help you out. Let's just say she's going to continuously be attractive all throughout the age. Let's just say that. One's going to be continuously attractive, and one's going to wane in attraction. All the same. Which would you choose?
I'm asking Doug.
I'm asking you, Doug.
Okay. Well, if you ask me, then I'm gonna go with someone that aligns with.
So you're not answering.
Mentally.
No. Let them finish.
They align with you mentally.
Yeah.
They both align.
I don't care about
mentally.
looks. I'll throw that out there. I don't care about looks.
Okay, you might not care about looks, but which would you prefer? So you rather have a 300-pound girl than a girl that's in shape if she fits all your qualities? It doesn't matter. Even though she got to pay for 2 plane seats every time, you that's fine with you.
She's got a beautiful smile.
Hey, man.
They're both the same. They're both the same.
Okay, so I would say that you're an outlier in that. I think that
and
you're lying,
he's being disingenuous at the very least.
Most men, we're naturally fucking attracted to some metrics. That's why when our first jobs were at the resale store, we had to fucking stack the shit in a certain order. We don't know why we're attracted to it, but it was even. But if someone asks you, why does it look better? You're going to say, because it's even. And then if I say, well, why is even better? You're going to be like, it's just better. It's because it's symmetrical. It's natural.
But I don't care about, I'm not doing Plato, bro. I'm not doing a theory of forms here. I don't care
What do
about
you mean
that.
cares the form? It's a scientifically proven
What do you
fact.
think? What do you think? I'm not doing philosophy. I'm not a philosopher.
I mean, well, maybe
You
well,
mean
he
philosopher?
can just use his anecdotes to
I'm
hide
just-
all he wants. Tide. He's just using his anecdotes to hide
But
all
the
he
problem,
wants.
the
Tide.
thing that's confusing to me is what's the big deal? Like,
So yeah, that was what I was going to ask.
Because it hurts
so
men's
why are you
feelings.
trying to go to this unreal?
So number
You know
one,
that
women don't walk
all the
around
things
with
that
their
have your
body
part-
count on their chest, right? So if you meet a woman and she ends up being like your dream woman, the perfect woman, and you, within a week you're like, I want this woman to have my children, and then once you've developed that bond, she tells you a body count that you don't like. How many of you would actually drop that right there?
Depends on the amount.
It depends on
Like a
who knows.
bad
about
habit,
it.
like a bad fucking habit. I'd drop
Great
it. Like
point,
a bad
bro.
habit.
I wouldn't.
Great point.
If she seemed authentic, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't care
I
either.
wouldn't think twice
But if
about
the
it.
whole world knew about it, I would care.
Exactly.
Okay, that's like
That's right. Yeah, that's
It's,
right.
it's very uncommon that the world knows
She was
about
the most
it.
famous porn star.
Yeah,
in the world.
Either way,
You guys,
either way.
you guys
It's
fail
very
to
uncommon
understand.
for
Like, it
melody.
doesn't matter
You
if
use
people
a lot
know
of
about it.
celebrities in your
Gentlemen, you're all talking at the same time, and you all know I hate that. Somebody also has like a feedback.
what is your body
coming
count? We wanna know.
in. I never tell my body count. Tune in next
okay,
week.
all right. Well,
I'm
You
not.
know
And you know
why
what?
though?
Nobody
You know
wants to
why
know.
though? You know why
there's a
though?
stigma. There's a stigma.
Because it's such a big deal for you guys to know, and I don't know
sex
any. I don't know any of you. If any of you are planning on coming and marrying me and having babies with me and all that fun stuff, then we can have a conversation. But some random fucking people on the internet, that shit doesn't belong there.
See,
Who the
that's exactly.
fuck has the feedback? I got you, Villain. I see you.
If I like hypothetically, no disrespect, if I were to had a romantic experience with you and you did some magic, I might put a ring on that thing the next. I might have to take a loan out, but I'm gonna put a ring on that thing the next damn day. But no one, once the public knows, that's when it becomes an embarrassment, depending on
Well,
your self-esteem level.
I think Ty, you and I disagree because you're right there. For some men, if no one knows, they will go ahead and bite the bullet. But there also are men who principally disagree, and they'll take a stance regardless of.
Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
Make
Go
one
ahead.
quick
man's-
point on whatever she was talking about here. You don't want to know. Don't ask. Don't tell.
I don't
You
wanna
don't
know.
want to know. The only thing that we want to hear is you're the best ever.
Yeah, I don't want to be lied to. I like the truth.
No.
I
Wait,
would
hold
agree.
on.
Seriously,
You're talking
even
about
if
a
it's
guy's
true,
performance
you don't
now,
want
right?
to know because you're gonna debate those two guys for the rest of your life on whether you're better or not and whatever else. Okay, let's switch the value from morals to monetary.
Okay.
What do you mean, like her making a lot of money?
Think about value. Okay, imagine your favorite porn actress. Okay.
Okay.
Think she's getting paid more
The Trump girl
per
too.
movie than she was when she first started in the industry.
She's probably getting paid more.
I made this argument in the chat.
I mean, it's real easy to figure this out. Yes,
You have more experience in the industry, you would be at a higher pay rate, right?
absolutely.
But you're in a
And
fringe
like
market.
an easy caveat to the prompt, though, right?
$30 million mansion.
You're in a fringe market, and the
Wait, hold up.
It's a fringe
so
market.
you're saying, now are you putting the value of the woman's like finances, like to determine whether we like her or not?
If value is monetary, then yeah. When she first
Oh,
started
Dad,
out,
I'll marry a bad bitch from McDonald's, bro. We don't give a fuck about that.
This is just Fatty pointing out that the value,
Bro,
the word
a
value is
man
completely
doesn't care about
subjective.
the woman's money. That's her
Company now,
money. I don't
right?
give
And
a
now
fuck
she's
what you
worth way more.
Tied up.
I don't
Tied up. You're not talking
I don't
about
give a
her specific finances. We're talking. It's a comparative analogy. How, as someone gains experience, they gain monetary value. With value being what's in the prompt.
And some would say that person's worth more now that they have, more clout, more experience in the game. That if I'm going to hire her for a job, then it's going to be worth more than somebody that's just still
Gentlemen,
going to be
let's round robin this. I want to ask the gentleman on the panel. We'll start with you, Evan Lord. To you, what makes how would you determine a woman's value? What character traits or personality or signifier, whatever, what's valuable to you?
I would definitely say like their personality, like in the way they carry themselves. Like I think if you see someone, you can kind of see like their character in a sense by the way they walk, the way they act. You want someone who's kind, understanding, a bit humble. You don't want them to be like overly arrogant or something like that. And that's where I think like someone that's overly beautiful, like I see that as a problem of like arrogance, of like of the person themselves and of you trying to go after them. And there, I would say it's better to just go for like the middle and just try to go for something there, because I think like a good person is what makes someone, because I think most people are like, they can connect with someone like physically. We all have like the drive, we all have the parts pretty much. Like sex is enjoyable. And I think that slowly building it up so it's better. But I think in terms of like over like trying to maximize your attraction and maximize your pleasure and stuff like that, I think that just leads to more trouble and headache than anything.
Okay. All right.
Happy birthday,
Old-
by the way,
Oh
Evan.
yeah, happy birthday, Evan.
Hey, Evan, happy birthday. I didn't know.
Happy birthday to you.
Great answer too.
All right, Old Fatty, what is valuable to you in a woman?
Somebody wants to enhance my life as I want to enhance hers.
Okay, short answer. I like it. Killdrake, what is valuable to you in a woman?
Somebody who shares the values with me. For instance, I'm Christian and I have a very low body count myself. I've been married twice, and on the second one, I'm not too. When it comes down to it, it's somebody who shares those exact values with me and continues down the line.
Okay. Effigy, what's valuable to you in a woman? And actually, Effigy, before you answer, Bricky, I tested. It is you that's giving feedback. I'm going to boot you. Go fix your shit and come back later.
Let's get headphones.
Ricky.
All right. Effigy, to you, what's valuable to you in a woman?
I mean, to me, it goes general to specific, right? Like you want someone you're attracted to at start, but then you want to get specific from there. And the interpersonal things are all the most important at the front. And you save all of these kind of things about your past for later. But yeah, to tell you the truth, like I thought Evan had a fantastic answer. I thought I agreed with nearly everything he said. I think everything that we're fretting over in these conversations are things that if you're the kind of person who brings that up early on in a relationship, you're the kind of person that women run away from.
Excellent. Tied up, what's valuable to you in a woman?
Good head. No, just joking. No, seriously. Seriously. No, I'm gonna answer seriously. Everybody gave beautiful answers, and you're right. And effigy. The reason why we're just talking about this obviously is the subject. That's why we're talking about this. But obviously, the sex would be the cherry on top. Okay, no pun intended. But obviously, you would want the qualities of adaptation, humility, nurturing, and everything like that. But if I had the chance to pick someone with those qualities, and she could do the job good, you could sleep well, I'm gonna choose the one that has the more sexual experience, but not enough. So I'm gonna be honest now, because I haven't heard a lot of people be vulnerable like this. She has to be good enough to be better than a virgin, but not enough to know that I'm not the best in bed. Because no matter what you do, you're not the best, bro. Anybody, all right? Unless you got some deformity that allows you to triple your tongue and just do on the pussy, you're not the best. All right. So the qualities.
Look, I've seen a doctor to try and have it fixed. I can't help it.
No, I would want to keep that deformity. You kidding me? Anyway,
you're assuming everyone's disabilities too.
Let him finish, please.
Those qualities would be ideal, of course. You know, I'm not talking about a woman that just shuts up in the corner. I want a woman that challenges my intellect, but also keeps me accountable, but supports my mission. You know, if her what's another word for pussy? I don't want to get us banned. Another word, if her kitty cat is good, that's even more of a blessing. And I might cry sometimes if it's that good. That's my answer.
Wonderful. Duck, to you, what's valuable in a woman?
She's nice. Probably if I was answering when I was still like 20 years old, I would say she's more of a badass than I am. Because she's probably not always. She's a Biden-Harris voter, atheist, and she's committed when the time comes. Even if we don't talk about it, if we're gonna have kids, she's as committed to being a good parent and a good steward of the human species as I am. That's basically it. That's
very
it.
nice.
She
Thank
tolerates
you.
me then.
Villain, to you, what is valuable in a woman to you?
I would say what is valuable would be it's dependent, obviously, in terms of situation. Are you specifically asking me what I want from a woman? Yeah, what I personally want.
How you value a woman?
How I show value to a woman?
What do you value?
What
do I value? Okay.
When
So,
you
well,
have a prospective
honestly,
woman, how do you value?
to be honest, it's honesty, right? So again, these things like body count and things like this, right? They can be important. Can be important as indicators, right? Indicators toward potential, I don't know, background. But then there are explanations for potential things that have happened. You know, when women are, let's say, promiscuous in some way. So I think honesty is important because obviously if there's honesty there, then the explanation also is there as to why the routes you took also happened, right? So ultimately, like, what would you put, like, and I say this to the rest of the guys, right? Like I'll give you like a little bit of a difference in terms of like a kind of a paradox, right? Or two examples. Would you prefer a woman that had a high body count, right, but didn't tell you, or a woman that had, had a high body count and did tell you, right? She did tell you.
You can hear it if she's going to be serious about her credentials, I think is what the internet says.
You're asking would we rather have a liar or not a liar?
Right.
I think everybody could agree.
Well,
with
I'm
that.
not asking you necessarily that. What I'm saying is that if, right, you're gonna value honesty. The point is that obviously body count does indicate toward something, right?
Okay, so
but
you're saying
at the
if you
same
didn't know.
time, but at the same time, honesty is important. So obviously, if a woman comes forward and says to you, "Look, this is my body, like this is my body count, this is my path," right? But at the same time, like I would value honesty in the answer of that, right? But at the same time, it has to be values that are shared completely, right? Like both of us have to effectively want the same mission. We have to effectively have the same arbiter of truth. That's what I value personally. The arbiter of truth, obviously, being like the most high end of. There has to be something that we agree on at this point. I don't necessarily mind if she had a bad past, way before she knew me, way before she knew God, right? But at
When
the
do you think
point
it's
of
okay to
knowing,
ask her that?
well, that's at the point of knowing God. At this point, if she's able to be honest with her past, and that's my point, is that if later on, let's say someone's told you they were a certain way, and then later on you found out that she was a liar, right? Like,
But she
that
might
would
be
be a
further
problem.
along. No offense, she might be further along in her emotional journey than you are already at that point. And so I can't be the one to judge because I got this. If I don't know, if I have a fallibilist view about, how I view some of this stuff, then that's just.
And it's also the thing is you have to trust her discernment, because if you're a guy, you got to be honest. You can't tell your wife everything. You just can't. I'm gonna give you.
Yeah, there was something.
If you're going out with the guys, and there's a girl there that you're not interested in, you could tell her anything. She might say, "No, you want to fuck that girl." Sometimes you just gotta lie and say, "I'm just going out with guys," because you're genuine going out with guys, but you bring her name up, she's not going to believe you. So you might as well just say, "I'm just going out with guys." So
James,
go ahead. Yes.
I wanted to finish the round robin. James, do
Yeah,
you
okay.
want to tell us what you find valuable in women?
I think it was Kildrick to build on that or to agree. Somebody who's Christian, somebody whose life or their deeds or their actions, and it reflects that. And hopefully somebody who grows to be someone who hates feminism just as much as I do.
So
Is feminism
non-Christian
ick for you?
Yeah, it's an ick. Liberal Kamala Harris supporters is ick.
And Mel, how would you view women to be valuable?
Oh, so yeah, it would really depend. I feel like that would be weird to talk about just because I do have a partner right now. So
Is it
no, I can describe the partner I have and what I like about him, but I don't
That
really.
yeah, we could do that. Yeah, that's fine.
So he's smart, he's funny, he's hardworking, which is definitely the thing that I'm not like. So he picks up the slack there for us, and we share a lot of the same interests, and we're both really eccentric. And with bedroom stuff, there's at least some overlap, but he's a little bit more interested in stuff than I am. But good for him.
Fair enough.
Most men are.
So I think we can all recognize that there really weren't any two answers that were exactly the same. So the way people build value in terms of their perspective is very different. So as much as we want to say value is like one hard-lined equation, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I just wanted to kind of make
It's all subjective.
And there's different types of value.
Absolutely, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
I don't
because
think
there's
it's
a
a
level of
philosophy
subjectivity
problem, though.
doesn't mean you can't quantify it.
It's not a
What I
philosophy
mean by that
problem.
is that there might not be an exact number to things, but there might be an order, a position to things.
Yeah, I mean,
I only worked
my
within
opinion,
the.
though, is if it
Can I
works, it
can I
works.
just point something
If
out,
it
by
fits-
the
if
way?
it fits, it fits.
Just as like just as a postmortem, I do concede that like there's way more to a relationship than just sex. But I wanted to work within the framework of the question that James picked because it had something to do with something he said on your last panel. And the reason I wanted to work with it is because I did think that James would also take kind of like the viewpoint that it's you gain worth from sex and sex alone. So if I can counter that, then I wanted to see would that actually force him into that state, or would he kind of double down on that? You did double down on that, but I just want to point out the general argument that there's way more to this. I included that in my introduction because I do agree with that 100%.
Can I propose another quick scenario for a round robin?
Yeah, sure.
You got two gals. They're both equally beautiful. You don't know anything about them. One has $50 million and one doesn't. Which one's more valuable? Okay, now you know which one has the money. Now which one is more valuable?
The one with the money.
For what? For a relationship or for my scheme to get $50 million?
She's valuable.
Value is subjective, so whatever.
That's what I'm saying. You have to specify
If she
what
has
your
$50
anchor for the value
million,
is.
Right.
Wait, hold on.
Hey, before we end up
that's a
playing 50
category of value.
questions,
Wait, hold on. Whose fault is that, villain? Okay, so first of all,
no, that was Fatty who asked the question.
No, you're a smart ass, but that's cool. I like you. All right, so Oat, Fatty, Duck, and Melody. First of all, I apologize. I came in hot because I was frustrated. But as far as the value, if a girl has $50 million and another one has $1 million, what more value does the $1 million girl have than 50? Just name anything.
She can buy you a bigger house.
The $1 million girl?
One might have a better personality. Doesn't
No,
annoy
wait,
you
hold on,
every
wait,
second of the day.
Let me just, because I could hear him. The $1 million girl could buy you a bigger house, Melody?
No, Mel means the 50.
Yeah.
No,
Right. Okay, I agree.
Wait, tied up. Just real quick. Do you mean like buy you a bigger house in like the sense that the Bible or like an author says buy you a bigger house? Or are you talking
No, I
about
mean materially. I mean
actual
more money
person?
gets bigger house. It's
Wait.
very simple.
This is perfect because this is a perfect
Yeah,
demonstration
yeah.
of desperation when someone's trying to make a rebuttal. When someone can't have an answer for you, they start to go into semantics and they say, well, what year are you talking about? And where's the culture it starts from?
Yeah, we
because
don't
in
need to
this year,
interpret
it was this. In that year, you see what he just did? He said,
Yeah,
now
Tyler.
what value? So now I'm going to grant you, Duck, to determine the value. Okay? So when a girl has $50 million and one has $1 million, let me grant you the value and tell me what $1 million girl has more than the $50 million. And I'll wait. Tom Hicks from Castaway.
I'm just gonna say if I was dating any woman, just because the way when I think about like money, like capital, like that type of money, I'd lose my shit. I'd rather date someone with $1,000 who understands money than date someone with $50 million who doesn't understand money and
Let's say
watch
they both
them
do.
Please let him finish. Please let him finish.
live a horrible life.
Please let him finish.
You
No. I got to respect his opinion. Go, please.
It's easier. This is the one time I'll quote the Bible or whatever, wherever this comes from. It's easier for a poor man to get to heaven than a rich dude or whatever the quote is. Something about the eye of a needle.
No, that was perfect. Just leave it. That was great.
Camel for the eye of the needle.
Nailed it.
Okay, cool.
Robert
Nailed it like
Samita,
camel for an eye on the
I'm asking everyone in the chat, if everyone donates $1, I will be a happy tomato. Don't forget, I do this shit for free. We are fully sponsored by only you and you alone, dear chat. So the happier this tomato is, the longer I'll let this conversation
You got to get an
go.
OnlyFans, sir.
Ew, stop it. No.
I mean, just like maybe a little nipple every now and then. But go ahead. Sorry.
Hell no. Tied up. Don't.
So,
I'm not going to survive, but I mean,
There's also a way of.
This is one of the best places
you
to be on the
are
internet.
interfering with my grift break. Why are you doing that? If you're going to say anything, you should be telling everyone to donate more to make me a happy girl, or else I can just boot everyone and go to bed. Remember, folks,
donate, guys.
I
We go
do have to.
we go in places, folks.
Yo,
We don't be rich when we get
I
there.
do have to get up very early in the morning. The only reason I stay on is so that we can have a fun panel, but I would prefer I get paid for my time. Thank you. And
you
Robert,
deserve to be paid. Yeah.
thank you. Robert
Drop the
Demita
money.
coming in with the big 5 and the smiley face. This is getting to be a little bit of a happier tomato. Flo Stank in with the big 2, sending tomato love. And Poopa Chalupa, I really, really, really love that name, says, don't anger the tomato. Yes, I dare you to see me angry or make me angry and see what happens, because I'm known for just shutting the stream down and saying fuck off. All right, back to you guys.
Maybe you should donate some freaking money.
Donate some freaking money.
Can we go
Donate
back
some
to
freaking money.
what you said, old Fatty? Because obviously there's another way of deriving value in terms of when you look at somebody's bank balance, right? This man himself said it here when he said about understanding actually how to deal with money, right? So when someone obviously has a bigger bank balance, obviously if this woman got it from a trust fund, from daddy, like she doesn't understand money. But if she's got 50 million opposed to a woman that has 1 million, right? We can immediately make judgments based upon the number, based upon, let's say, if it isn't a trust fund, right? Just in this circumstance, which is that obviously the person with 50 million in some way either has some form of something about themselves that allowed them to get to that position. You can make a value judgment based on a multitude of factors,
right?
Based on the number,
That's
right?
a bad argument because I hate to say
why I
this,
brought
I'm gonna hate
money
you for this.
into it.
Because most of the women that are the top 10 richest are rich because of their nigga died. They're rich as widows. They inherited their dead niggas.
Yeah, but I didn't make the argument that women listen. Tied up. That's
How valuable they are. Actually, they are valuable. They picked the right nigga that was gonna die, so they can inherit the money. You're right.
Wait,
That's the only way
let you know.
use that argument.
Hey, tied up.
Tied up. Can I reply?
Wait, hold on, guys. Raging Tomato does not like the N word, so you gotta.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it. That's all I was saying.
I didn't say. I never would say. But right. So you say it's a bad. You say it's a bad argument.
No, Grid once in.
Yeah. Grid 1, yo, brother.
I better not ever hear you say a rap hip hop song at a concert. I'm gonna be watching you. Go to Miley Cyrus concerts. All right, but now go ahead.
Well, no, to say it's a bad argument, like it's not a bad argument because that would be building a straw man. I never made a statement that a woman that had her husband die and then she then received 50 million. I made the statement that a woman that doesn't have a trust fund that had 50 million in the bank, right? Based upon that, if we knew how she got to that number, i.e. that she made it herself, we can make value judgments based upon that number, based on a multitude of factors, i.e. obviously how intelligent she is, right? Obviously,
so you're saying you shouldn't value a woman just based on one number.
But the thing is, villain.
No, I'm saying there's a way of topping something up when you have determining factors before.
I understand what
you
you're
need
saying,
nuance, right? You can't just base it on one number, right?
Bro,
Wait. Point of housekeeping. Grid, if you're going to be in charge, you have to read super chats.
Oh, I'm sorry. Melanie Cosmic Fox sends Canadian $40. We do take play money here. I am already full of regrets. What's one more?
Dang,
ladies and gentlemen, we do need to get the grift flowing. It looks like it's been doing okay, but it slowed down a lot. Let's make some stuff happen. Tied up sends in. What is MX? Is that Mexican $200?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I forgot. I forgot to put my VPN on, but yeah, that's Mexican money. I mean, you get part.
It is Mexican money. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I got. Somebody sent me 50,000 Vietnamese dong the other day.
So that's
that was a running joke the entire rest of the show.
Bro.
Yeah, dude.
That's a lot of dong.
That's good. It's probably like 3 trannies in Thailand.
Yeah.
That's another TOS, bro. That's another TOS. Chill off
tied up. You can't use that word.
I'm not really sure.
You can't say tranny?
Not
No!
really. Yeah, chill out on
We're
it.
talking about cars.
We're trying to make sure tomato stays monetized if she hasn't gotten.
I'm sorry. That sound like a
Very
that sound like a cool ass word. If I was one
Unless
of them,
you're
that sound
talking
cool.
about a
I'd be like,
transmission. you can
Stacy
still
from
use it to
Cash
talk about-
App sends in $5 to tell everyone to shut the fuck up and listen to me. I have something for this. Let me oh man, I can't. Sorry, guys.
Let me
Next
refine the
time.
scenario a little bit, guys. Okay,
I have
so
it ready.
the gal with $50 million, she's never been married. Okay, but she has a body count of like 10,000 because she's
Damn.
an actress in the industry, right?
Damn.
She's currently building herself a $30 million mansion. Okay.
Kim Kardashian.
She owns her own company now, her own production company. She's in the business. You know what I'm saying?
What's the other? What's the other? What's the
The
opposite?
gal with $1 million, right? She has a body count of 2.
So if you're telling me
1 million.
this girl's
Good.
Hollywood elite, my own intuition would tell me that
Not
like
Hollywood,
look,
more
there's
like
not going
She's
to
a
be
P-star.
enough
She's a P-star.
emotional investment there. There's
She's
not
a
going to be
P-star.
any sort
I
of
got guys
you know-
one at a time so that we can hear. Duck, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think like just my impression of seeing like actors and actresses and the news falling in and out of relationships very publicly. It's like, look, I understand that sort of artistic drive and sort of the professional drive to like nail a role, but it's like if we have a big house but you're method acting half the time, I don't know if I want to be a part of that. I don't actually care that much. Like
I'm
loves
not
you.
sure I use the word
Loves you and only you
nail.
now, right?
she's not Angelina Jolie, given to Nigerian kids or whatever it is. I don't see a reason to try and stick that out and to make that work. Like, and to like understand the seriousness and gravity with which, the impact that we can have and stuff like that. No
I'd
offense.
almost be worried about like the leverage that she would have with that much money and that many resources and having a job besides like the body count component. Like,
yeah,
with that big of a power imbalance, it's nothing but trouble in my opinion.
I think
I
the
totally
idea
agree.
most men thinking about a woman who has
What if she
10,000
just wants you
bodies.
for a tax write-off and for you to be a pool boy?
Hey,
Most
I'm
men are
cool with
probably
that.
gonna
I
pick
need
the
a
1
job.
million
I need a
stick.
job. So if she's gonna pay me $28 an hour to clean a pool, I'll come over 3 times a week and I'll clean the pool. That's
But does that
that's
include the
actually my jam right
extracurricular
there. That's no
activities?
offense, but like
It's just the thing is when you get to 10,000, to me personally, that's way too many people that she's gonna think about when
Yeah.
you're and like that's way too many chances of you being less of a pleaser. I'm sorry. I'm gonna admit I'll say no to
There's
that.
probably nothing left. There's probably nothing there. It's probably
That's
not
all we
anything
want to
at
hear
all.
is you're the best ever.
Right. And
yo,
her kids
because
are like
this
that
grift
age.
because this grift goal is not complete. Sarah just popped that up. I'm just gonna say I'll do spotted leopard body pops if people do a super chat because I know you guys want to see it. Is that too
Wait, hold on,
awkward?
hold on. Who said that?
Leopard body pops.
That's Duck.
Yeah, I don't know what that
That's
is.
Duck. Let's go.
All right, I have a question. I have a question for the panel. Would you
Okay.
guys rather date an extreme feminist or an extreme MAGA supporter?
An extreme
I would
what?
do extreme MAGA supporter.
MAGA?
Whatever
Yeah,
you,
because
however you
extreme
perceive it.
feminist is retarded because she needs a man to make her be allowed to be the feminist. So her point would be null and void.
What? Why can't you just engage with the damn question like you engage with the other ones?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I mean, I'm
Just
saying,
pick one,
I said
pick
extreme
one.
MAGA. That's my answer.
Oh, you didn't pick extreme MAGA? All right, shout out to you. Tied up. Shout out to you. Anybody else? Anybody too scared to answer?
Obviously MAGA.
I feel like I'd be the
MAGA.
same.
Neither.
You
Is
can't
there
say
such
neither,
thing?
man. What's up? Don't be a dang feminist.
It's obviously MAGA.
How is saying neither being a feminist?
Because that's what feminists do. They don't answer questions.
No, I answered your question.
Well,
There's always a third option.
Not in the hypothetical to test your logic.
Even Lord had something to say, so let's hear him say it.
All right. I was just going to say this before I headed off. Melanie had like a lot of points about empirics, but I was just making it I donated a comment earlier, basically saying like when there's always been people that have been willing to like buy a wife or like get a concubine or have a gift for like emperors and so on. Like virginity was paramount, and like that would dramatically increase the price of someone or of a woman rather than like them having multiple bodies. So in terms of like women having more value as they have a higher body count, Like even now with like Saudis or like the oil barons of Dubai going in doing ridiculous things for money. Like the more body count they have, then the less money they could negotiate for themselves, or someone could negotiate.
We also have Evan.
So,
We also have
you read
professional
your,
medical
you
staff
read-
these days. I just want to be very clear that like in the year 2025, there's an entire industry that has been dedicated for decades to both sexual health in men and women, as well as women's health with OBGYN, that is both related to things like pregnancy as well as not being pregnant. So, you know, I just want to throw that out there, that it's really difficult for me as well to correlate, you know, that type of value, which exists in the world towards like a living, breathing person.
Here. And it says, I don't know what that is, duck, but do it.
A girl that's a virgin.
Well, yeah. So, Doug, what's the cheetah pop popsicle thing you're talking about?
Culture. I mean, America's fucked up. They're the ones that value something like that.
Uncle Fatty sends in $4.20. Maybe you should donate some more freaking money. Yes, you should. Grift must flow. The demand for grift is great.
If I may, since Melanie kind of jetted off here, Tied Up, were you the other one saying that they do increase in value with the more experience they get sexually?
I was talking about as a horny black guy in America, yeah, but I mean, other cultures is totally
okay.
different.
Yeah, that's cool. So let me dial in on this real quick. What does that experience look like? Like, what's the good part about it? Why is it good? Because I would say that women, when they're with a single guy for a longer amount of time, they get more comfortable, and in that comfortableness, while they're in the act, that's where a lot of the goodness comes from. So I think your example was they know how to fondle balls or something like that. I don't see how that's fucking good at all.
Okay,
it's just objectively wrong.
Please let me answer your question.
Yeah, go off.
Okay, the woman that doesn't have that experience, she has a high level of unawareness, obliviousness. So if she can please you in a certain way that you don't even know, like for example, I like my nipples rubbed when she's doing her thing. She might not have never experienced that, so she might not even be aware to think like that.
But
okay?
you can
you can't explain that.
I'm gonna get there. But
Robert Demita sends in $5 American. Thank you, sir. Very good.
Yes, Robert.
So automatically she's behind. So,
hey, it's Sarah. Sarah's back.
And I mentioned
behind in what way? Like, listen, proclivities change from partner to partner, so you're gonna have to relearn those anyways. So I don't get the point.
No. But you still are aware of the possible. Who's asking this question? I just want to make sure who I'm talking to.
Bottom left.
Okay, Joseph. But you missed what I said when I first.
What if she's going to inspire you? What if she's going to inspire you to eat better or something?
There's still a level of awareness, you know. Though even if it doesn't work, you know that area is a possibility. You ever seen the movie Pleasantville? Them motherfuckers was living in black and white. They weren't aware of color, so they wouldn't be able to suggest, "Hey, you should paint this like that," because blue wasn't no blue. So even if I'm wrong about my partner, at least I'm aware enough to try it. Then I can say, oh, that didn't make her come. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to try licking her ass while rubbing her nipples. So that's the advantage. You act like you don't know some moves. That
Wait.
I got no clue what you're talking about.
This is a terrible argument, Tied Up. Wait there a second. Can I have a quick back and forth with Tied Up? Let me just say something very
I
quickly.
wanted to hear more about the ass licking nipple rubbing.
I did not.
Yeah, me neither.
Like Tied Up. Like Joseph is suggesting, and what he's trying to tell you is that obviously with less partners, it increases the ability and capability of pair bonding, right? And with that,
your voice threw me off. You sound like a sexy James Bond.
all right, no worries, that's good. All right, listen, it increases the ability for pair bonding, right? The less partners that you share with somebody, right? If you increase the ability to pair bond, I'm making an argument right now. If you increase the ability and your capacity for pair bonding within that paradigm, right? Especially when someone actually doesn't know something about themselves, and both people, especially not knowing something about themselves, and in that situation, they are bonded. They're able to what? They're able to execute that experience between one another and learn and find out exactly what it is that they want. The idea that, you know, you're not able to speak to someone because of some like vapid reference to a movie called Pleasantville that has no standing in the idea of a way a woman's actual cognitive function is in a relationship right now, right? Like, dude, that is completely stupid. Like, you should never even said that. Like, think about what you just said. You have got the ability to talk to somebody, negotiate with somebody, explain to somebody why you want a certain thing, how you want it, and why. And if the person doesn't have experience with other people and that does increase the pair bond, obviously that's going to then do what? It's going to make them want to please you. It's going to make them want to serve you because you are bonded in a much greater fashion and sense. Like, so what would you say to that in terms of the utility of ability in your mind as pleasure and how you could receive pleasure and how you could give it?
Man, get married.
That was beautiful. That was really beautiful, man. I appreciate your expression and everything. And I would even say your accent even makes it even more challenging because it's very exotic and very soothing. But I'm going to answer your question. The fact that you made the claim about my comparison of Pleasantville and you said it was stupid, it kind of shows your level of low IQ because you didn't get my comparison from the first person question. I use that as comparison to his question easier to comprehend. You probably never seen Pleasantville. Based on your accent, you probably watched fucking Black Mirror, so you wouldn't understand what I was saying. So why can you say it was?
Well, I do know what Pleasantville is. Don't worry.
You saw it?
I see some of it, yeah.
And Evan Lord coming in with the big 5 saying good night, everyone. And thank you for your kind wishes. Sarah, thank you for this great. It was a fine birthday gift.
Shout out, Evan. Keep your virginity.
For the grift, yes. And Kieran Markin back to trickle up his membership as well. Thank you.
I just want to say something too.
I didn't say. Wait, can I just clarify?
Wait.
Doug, 1 second, because we were having a back and forth, right?
I didn't get to answer your question. Like, please.
No, I didn't say that you met. Listen, I didn't say your comparison to another thing with Pleasantville was stupid. I said the idea overall, as we, in comparison to how we actually currently live, in terms of the actual prompt, right? It's stupid in that sense. It's stupid in that sense that it doesn't really matter considering how we actually live. We don't live in a world where people are ignoramuses in this sense and can't communicate. We're talking about reality. That's why I said it was stupid to even bring that up in this sense.
Okay. I'm gonna answer your question. This is why the internet is so beautiful, man, because everybody, they have to learn how to stop being aggressive when they respond. Because if you let somebody talk long enough, they're gonna realize how dumb they are. And they didn't get the point. He still didn't get why I brought the Pleasantville.
Explain it to me.
Let me talk, please. You like the others from Law Season 2. All right. The reason why I brought up Pleasantville is because he asked me about the girl that has least experience. And I said, okay, that means she's unaware of something. And you brought up pair bonding. So please let me finish. When you're dependent on that, the way you described it, you're dependent on the girl's ignorance of not knowing other possibilities, which is your prerogative. But
if I may push back, just because it was me who initially brought this up, I'm trying to show you that it is when the woman engages in more of this behavior, it's her own pleasure that gets increased. And I'm saying to you, like, well, what good does it do for the guy? Not much, but it does for her. So whether she does that with a single person or many, I don't know why you think you can conflate the two. I don't know why you think from a male perspective, that experience makes for a better mate, right?
Can I ask you,
Joseph? Wait, hold on, wait.
Sure,
I didn't understand exactly what you're saying. I could be slow on this, admittedly. But you said when something, her pleasure doesn't. Can you repeat that first part? I missed what you were saying.
What I'm saying is that you're making the claim that it's a net benefit for men if they have more of this experience. What I'm saying to you is that it's a net benefit.
No, I never made that claim, but go ahead. I'll let you finish. I said it's a fair benefit if the woman has more experience. If you said that, then I'm mistaken, and we do agree.
Well, I mean, the more experience a woman gets, the more she'll know her own body, the more she'll feel comfortable. I don't know how you can graft that onto being a benefit for men. She could gain that experience with one guy.
Yes.
And then you said, like, oh, hold on, real quick. You said, like, well, then she'll know when to touch my nipples, yada yada. That's you trying to graft that on to it being a boon for men. It's not a boon for men. Not from their. It could be for some, but for the majority perspective, it's not.
Okay. Thank you for answering that because you just proved yourself wrong. You said it could be a boon for men.
But
Yeah,
could is
on
not
the fringe.
majority. Wait, hold on, wait. Please, nobody talk. We'll start right there, and I'll yield to what you got to say. Did you say it could be a boom for men? I'm not saying that beats the argument. Can we start with that? Did you just agree that?
If you want to take that and run with it, go ahead.
I'm not going to run with it.
I want to hear what I also want to hear what Tyler has to say. I think his point's 1,000 times better right now.
Let me, Enoch Jackson with a big 5. Dude talking about pair bonding is delusional. It's been debunked several times, and also no person I know wants to teach someone in bed. And allow me to give a little, we're going to go, I can give you guys 1 more hour, but we got to buy it in advance because we're going to switch over to the gauntlet here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to set a goal. It's going to be fast. Meet the goal. We'll get a whole nother fucking hour out of it. But because we're moving over, there's no more super chats that'll come in. So we got to buy in advance. All right. So we'll keep going, but I'm going to set the goal. You guys go from there. Go ahead.
I got to say,
can I just respond to the super chat?
Hold on. I've been listening to you guys go back and forth. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Sex is not complicated. You guys are literally talking past each other so far that that we can't even see the goalpost. Sex is not hard.
No.
Fucking animals do it. And they enjoy it.
I have sex.
So
Someone
this is no.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I've listened to you now for
yes, sir.
half an hour, and I got to go to bed. So here's the thing. I've talked to a bunch of people over the past year and a half on this very same subject. I've listened to tons of arguments from red pill and no pill and blue pill and white pill and black pill, all the pills, all of them. The one thing that is just seems to escape people is that sex is not complicated. You put the P in the V and you do what makes you happy until things happen. That's simple. Now, you can talk about all of this. Well, I'm going to please my woman and all of that. But I tell you what really pleases a woman is honestly, security, safety, and a sense of love and belonging. Now, sex is at the bottom of the fucking list. I know the red pill hates to hear that because they all want to know
I'd agree.
what dicks are.
I would agree as well.
It's that simple. And Sarah, I'm going to do an Andrew and just be a bastard and leave because I got to go to bed.
Wait, don't leave yet. Just give me 5 minutes, okay? Really quick.
Before you leave, can I just say you're a big fan?
I do gotta go. I actually.
All right. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Let me give you 30 seconds. Okay.
30 seconds. All right, go ahead.
The fact that you just said sex is not complicated, it tells me that you don't. Someone's probably unhappy and not telling you about your sexual.
No, my days.
I'm gonna tell you what.
I've been married for 20 years, and I've got 2 prizes to show that I'm good at the job.
What are the prizes?
Kids.
Children. My man.
Inside a tube and get
Children are also known as.
You look like a Green Bay Packers head coach. I'll tell you why you're
No, but it's true. Women are not really obsessed about getting like their rocks
in the G spot. You clearly don't know what about it. You probably don't even eat your wife's pussy.
Well, hold on, because
you just lay right back.
I've reached Sarah out and like talking about
one at a time.
You don't spur it out.
You try to oversimplify.
Just because don't project on me your shortcomings, sir.
Yeah, you're getting emotional.
Quite a career. And you'll never get to hear about it.
That means,
and I'm going to fuck off.
You act like you
guys
never
have a great night, Sarah. You're cute.
Later, grid.
Real quick here, Ty, because I actually got to take off.
I gotta go.
You go ahead first.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go really fast. I'm just gonna say.
Hold on, tied up.
I'm just gonna say Mia Khalifa and a ton of other adult actresses have made the successful transition to podcasting. They have an audience. They help people. Body count is not synonymous with value. Most importantly, just to float this out there, that when I'm assessing what I find valuable in a woman, 2 things remain true. C.S. Lewis was a shitty author and a horrible person, and William Lane Craig isn't a real doctor. Boom.
I
Like
honestly
folks.
don't know who those people are.
All right, Doug. Well,
come
since
on,
you're leaving, I'm
I
just
don't
gonna
know
go
who those
ahead
people are.
and be
Just
the
tell me who
jerk
they are.
and respond.
Are they like sex?
Don't worry, I knew they were.
Hold on.
Okay.
I think somebody else wanted to say something before they left too.
Yeah, that'd be me. So when it comes down to it, I mean exactly what R1 said in regards to sex being simple. It is. It has been for a long time. And in regards to experience, you can build experience with a singular partner over the course of a long period of time, and they can be very satisfied with that situation, especially if both of you guys have about the same experience. Because of the fact that somebody with less experience. Hold on. Somebody with less experience will not know the difference, and that goes the same both ways. So when it comes down to it, what is satisfactory for you may not be satisfactory for somebody else. But how are you ever going to know the difference if you don't talk about it? Sex should remain private in the house of your own home. When it comes to it, you shouldn't be talking about that stuff with your friends, with your family, or anybody else. Sex is private. The only one you should be discussing that with is your partner. So when it does come down to that, the discussion is simple. If neither one of you guys know what the feeling is of getting your asshole licked and your nipples played with in sex, then neither one of you are ever going to know the difference of it not ever happening. So to kind of build on your Pleasant View point, those people were extremely happy because everything was simple, because it was undated. So when it does come down to it, value as a body count is seen as valuable because of your actual beliefs. So when it comes to somebody like me, it's very simple. I'm with somebody who is a very low body count, same with me. We share the same Christian values, and we want to bring our children up in the same way. So when it does come down to it, that's what's valuable to me. But that's the problem with this entire discussion is value is subjective in regards to all of this. So my beliefs change the value, which is why you have to go at it as a generality, not as something that's specific. So when it does come down to it, what's valuable to me is going to be different to you. You're somebody who wants the sexual experience. I could give a care less. I want somebody who's there with my family, who wants to build a family and build a home. I could care less about how many people they slept with.
I would agree with that. But
Kind reminder. Thank you, Robert Demita, sending in the big 5 to let you know you are only 1 out of 10 to hitting the goal. If you want to keep going for that extra hour, we'll switch over to the gauntlet, but the gauntlet is not yet monetized. So we have to actually prepay to get that one. So thank you, Robert. I appreciate
It's
you.
ironic that you mentioned sex is simple, but you use to back you up the quality of ignorance. So now you're depending on them not knowing, which in 2025 as an American, we know that there's more of a sexualized atmosphere than before.
It depends on your environment because of the fact that it depends on what you watch and everything else. And somebody with my values, I've never gone through and I've never learned of anything like that. I've never watched the shows you guys want to watch and stuff like that. So when it does come down to it, if I'm never subjected to that stuff, if I've never seen it, same thing with my partner, how are we expecting any different?
Now, but now you had to put yourself he had to put himself in this outlier box. But yet it's
but you're simply making the claim that sex is complicated now, tied up. And the problem is that no, he is. He's effectively making the claim that sex is complicated.
It's not complicated. He is
not you.
100%.
Tied up. Tied up is.
Yeah, he is making that claim.
I'm simply defending the word simple. Complicated was just the other word that they used. I think that's too much of a...
I was going to say, because, so what are you stating then? Because obviously we know that sex isn't complicated in any way, sense, or fashion, because literally nearly every human is capable of doing it and then creating offspring. So it's like one of those things where we have actual proof, right? And I just want to, I don't know who it was that made the last point when he was stating what he was stating earlier. I don't know what his name is. Who's the other guy that was in the conversation?
Maybe
That'd be me. It's Killdrake.
Killdrake. All right. No, well, with Killdrake's point as well, when he talks about it being a subjective value, in terms of like body count, how many sexual partners somebody's had, right? Like there is a subjective value to that, to every individual based on their own values. Like me myself, right? I'm a Christian, right? So I have the same values as you, but there's also an objective value in the sense that we can outline that. Obviously, absent DNA testing, right? Absent those types of things, it has a utility to it, right? To understand exactly how many partners somebody's had, when those dates were, right? and whether or not someone is a virgin based upon parental lineage, right? So that's why virginity, for instance, has been valued. This was spoken about earlier, right? Why virginity is valued, because in that essence we essentially know. And again, like, I wanted to kind of go on to the person who said, oh, what he's talking about with pair bonding has been completely debunked. Well, statistically it's not been debunked. Sociological studies,
I agree.
Like sociological studies that are very tertiary in their actual like when you look into them, how they actually applied the methodology, it's like it's vapid. It's not, and it's very much like superficial. But in terms of statistics, like, we can genuinely see that people that have lower amounts of partners that stay together, or i.e. people that are married when they're virgins, and they're married younger with less experience, they actually stay together for longer. That's what I mean in terms of pair bonding, which is that most marriages that last the longest, right, are in that circumstance.
Really quick, you brought up
Hold on, let me do a grift break. Kieran Markin with the, and then I'll get back to you, Tide. Kieran Markin with the big 5 says, guys appreciate sexual experience in the woman he hooks up with, not so much in the woman he marries. YouTube made me type it that way, for fuck's sake. And Lobster with a big 2 says $2 train for hot chicks. Choo choo. And you have, I believe, 5 minutes to get in 7 more, 5 minutes to get in 7 more super chats, or this bitch goes home. Make it happen, or we all go to bed. Go ahead.
Actually, real quick, I want to say it's been
hold
great
on,
talking with you guys.
Oh, are you leaving? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been great talking with you guys. Like I said, I have to take off. I gotta get off this mic, otherwise the old lady behind me is gonna kill me. So when it comes down to it, I'm gonna keep listening. But I do hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I hope to be part of these more.
Thank you. You're always welcome. Have a good night, Killdrake.
I'm going against when Villain said it's simple, and then he uses the effect that anybody can do it because they just need to stick their thing in their vagina. Okay, yes, and that aspect is simple. But I didn't want to use the extreme of complication. I'd rather use the word intricacy, because there's nuances within it. For example, the dude that looked like Bill Belichick's nephew that left here, he probably doesn't even know the right way to stroke. He probably thinks you stroke straight forward to cause the orgasm when you're really supposed to stroke like this to excite the pussy. Stuff like that people don't even care to know. If you're a certain man, don't care. So there's intricacies. It's not just simple. Because
can I comment on Kieran's super chat?
If you want to use, because for simple, if you want to use that, then I could go even further and say, yeah, it's simple. I could bust in a shove it
so this is what I said earlier, and Kieran nails it. It's about what you're valuing. You can't just sit here and say value, and have it be this like.
So value has a level of
shut up! I'm talking. You've been talking for so long, and I've been waiting.
Okay, go ahead. You're right.
Yes, please. Right. So you can't just sit here and say value, and not define where it's anchored to, what epistemology you're using, what thing is holding that metric. So, like Kieran points out beautifully here, a guy who's looking to get laid is going to value a girl who will put out. A guy who may be looking for other things values other things. When you're talking about valuing a virgin, specify, are you talking about valuing someone for a relationship, valuing someone for purity? What one of these things is what you are valuing. Valuing isn't a value in itself, so you have to be specific. The perfect example for this is if you're in high school, were all the guys trying to fuck the prudish girl, or were they all trying to fuck the one who had the rumor of she was fucking the whole football team? Who were they trying to do, right? It's what they were valuing at the time, right? So when you're like...
And Kieran with the big 2 says, extend the show. This is good shit. And yes, you guys, Kieran dropping the 5 out of 10. We're at 5 out of 10 on the goal, and you got 2.5 minutes. Get them in, get them fast. Do it. Are we going
come on, people, drop the money in, like, what?
More camels, right?
And I don't put limits on what the dollar amounts need to be either, guys. I mean,
just everyone put $1 in. Like,
thank you. It's really not that hard. I can be a
simple.
Robert Demita says,
brother's gonna have to carry it all.
There we go.
Alex Carey with the big 2. Does Tied Up know who the fuck he was talking to?
I know, right?
I don't know who I was talking to, because I treat everybody the same. And admittedly,
Well, no. What you mean? Wait there. What he means by that, though, is that if you knew who he was talking to, right, you would understand the type. No. You can't finish because you've spoken a lot. You've spoken a lot, and you've just talked about somebody that a lot of people have respect for, right? So that lots of people, like you, didn't know who he was. That's why they said you didn't know who you were talking to. Everyone else did. We have a value in that person. We understand his values. We understand his views, and we also know other things about him based on, obviously, the fact that he shares things about himself, right? So that's the point in that. Yeah, you just didn't know who you were talking to, right? But like again, like you were talking to him like you fucking did, weren't you? So that's disrespectful, sir. So that's so that's why they're talking that way.
And Melanie
wait.
coming in with that. Hold on, and then I'll let you
I'm gonna
respond.
shut
We're
Sarah up.
finishing the grift, and then we will actually. You have purchased your extra hour, ladies and gentlemen. We will shift over to the gauntlet here shortly. Mods, if you could so kindly drop the gauntlet link in the Raging Tomato chat to get over to that show. If you could drop that show link in the chat. Start moving everybody over to the gauntlet. We will shut down Raging Tomato and continue on gauntlet. Melanie, fingies crossed, tails crossed too. Paige in with the big 5. I look forward to returning at some point, Sarah. My apologies to you and Mel. Great topic as always. No worries, Paige. We'll get you rescheduled when it's good and time for you to do it, and we'll get you all squared away. No harm, no foul. Frito with the big 5. Extend. Enoch with the big 2. Come on, guys. Alamo shooting out a big 20 says loving the content. And then Enoch again says another one. DJ Khalid voice. Oh, how does he say it? There you go.
We the best music.
I want to answer Villain's question. Okay, it's ironic, and this shows us who has the self-control and the discernment to determine whether someone's going to answer the question without interrupting, because I was going to answer what he just said, and he wasted time by interrupting me. Now I have to.
Maybe you could do that instead of preambling.
Just like the idiot that just did. Okay.
Well, dude.
I didn't fit. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't even show your picture. I could go on you all day. You got a ghetto king.
Oh, my goodness.
Up
okay, wait. All right, wait, hold on, wait. Okay, so
That's tense, man. Come on.
Shows your face. You like, I guarantee you shows your face. You're gonna look funny.
My camera ain't even turned around the right way.
Turn it around. Turn it around. Go ahead.
You're as bad as that.
In all fairness,
Wait, let me.
before. He's not afraid.
Okay, Villain. Well, yeah, I don't know what he did before he came up. He just got glossy. But anyway, Villain.
I'm a black woman. Get over it. Go ahead.
No, I don't know who the gentleman is, and based on your expression, obviously he has some respect in the platform. But I like to talk to people that I don't know, because now I know how high their ego is. Because I'm gonna talk to them like a regular person. And
You're not talking like a regular person.
No, tied up. The reason why somebody had an issue when they said, I was just literally letting you know, when someone said you didn't know who you were talking to, right? That could be applied as saying, right? That effectively, it could have. I was just trying to sort my mic up. Sorry. Go ahead. You carry on explaining. Go ahead.
It wasn't necessarily to
because you're not understanding what the comment meant. Was that you were talking to the man saying you don't know how to fuck your wife, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that, and you said yourself you don't know him. So you're making claims that you don't know nothing about.
Hey, Sasquatch, did Mike get a really good tan?
Hold on. I will even go as far as saying I've met Grid's wife. She seems like a very happy woman.
Good for her.
Nephilim with the big 2 to say part of the grift, and Nephilim following up again saying part of the crew. All right, everybody watching from the Raging Tomato side, I've dropped the link in the chat. Mods, you might have to keep doing it. I'm officially going to shut down the Raging Tomato side. We're shifting over to the gauntlet, so go now. It is set to raid automatically as well, so buckle up either way. All right, Raging Tomato is heading out.